been with us for the past few sessions, welcome back. And if you're joining us for the first time, we are thrilled to have you on board. My name is Priscilla, and I'm excited to be your host for today. It's fantastic to have you all here with us today for SPM in Action 2.0. Whether you're tuning in from home, school, or anywhere else, we're excited to kick off this session and support you on your journey towards SPM 2024 success. A quick heads up, scan the QR code that's on the screen right now to check out our event booklet. It's got all the essentials, event schedules, guest speakers, sponsors, and more. Take a look and enjoy the event. And before we get started, we would like to encourage everyone to engage with us on the Slido link today, which will be sent in the chat box right now. You can leave some questions you have for our speaker today throughout the entire session. So before we begin, just a few housekeeping rules. Number one, mute your microphones. Please keep your microphones muted unless you're speaking to avoid background noises. If you have any questions, simply raise your hand during the Q&A session and unmute when cued. Number two, stay engaged. Use the chat to interact, share ideas, and connect with each other. This is a collaborative learning space, so feel free to ask questions or answer questions from the speaker. And last but not least, be respectful. Treat everyone in the workshop with kindness and courtesy. Respect the speaker's time and effort by listening attentively and refraining from interrupting when someone else is speaking. Now, let's get started and dive into the session, which is all about physics. It is my great pleasure to introduce our speaker for today, Mr. Jun Han. With 15 years of teaching experience, Mr. Jun Han has made a lasting impact on the education landscape, particularly in the subject physics. Mr. Jun Han has guided over 1,500 students to achieve A plus in their physics SPM exams, and their success stories are a testament to his expertise and dedication. Mr. Jun Han is also the mastermind behind Jun Han Physics, Instagram, and YouTube channels, where he shares valuable educational content with thousands of students, helping them master complex physics concepts and ace their exams. Mr. Jun Han has also made history by breaking records in the Malaysian Book of Records in 2023 for having the most straight A students in a tuition center and the most A grades in SPM for a tuition center. These remarkable achievements highlight Mr. Jun Han's unwavering commitment to student success and their ability to inspire excellence in others. So everyone, let's give a warm welcome to Mr. Jun Han, our physics expert, and get ready for a very informative and engaging session that will make your physics preparation both effective and enjoyable. Mr. Jun Han, the floor is now yours to share.
Okay. Hello. Hi guys, everybody. Good morning. Uh, Let me share my screen. Wait, hold on for a second. Let me bring up my notes first. Okay. So I think you can see this screen over here. And I think this one also for the file I think I sent you guys earlier. So if you have print out the notes, you can always do it together. So mainly we need to discuss about two things for today, right? The two topic that I think is very important for SPM this coming, the coming one, of course, right? So one of them, number one, of course, the thing that normally people get problem with, it's your Form 5, Chapter 5, electronics. Then after that, you have another questions here, which is the Form 5, Chapter 3, with Chapter 4, sorry, it will be electromagnetic. So basically, both of these is one of the topic that people usually get stuck with. Okay, and this is the one thing that student always ask about it. So I think we can go through these two. We will do for question one for the first half. So meanwhile, while we're doing it, then of course we're gonna go through more details. I'll explain more about it for you, and then after that we'll take a break, and then we can go for a second question as well. Okay. So for first one here, okay. Now for electronics, right? There's three main point three subtopic we have lah. You got the CRO, and then you have the diode, and also you have the transistor. So for this year SPM, of course, the one thing very important is actually your uh diode and also CRO. Okay, because last year SPM now they came out transistor already. So I think this question quite good lah, because to be honest, the idea is we have both combined together lah. As you can see, this one obviously we're dealing with diodes, but at the same time, right, you can also notice that the diode is actually connected to a CRO, cathode ray oscilloscope. So this is why, right? This one questions, it will be able to answer both of the part, then we can revise together as well. Okay. So over here, now this question a bit different than usual that you see, because why? You can see this diagram literally just empty, nothing on. You get empty here, you get empty here. Usually you will get diagrams where they will draw for you lah. You will see they draw the diodes and everything, then you just need to kind of know how to explain everything. So this one a little bit extra, the difficulty is higher, more challenging a bit lah. Okay, so first one, as always, question number one, you can see always, right, number one, they always ask one, like when you do with all the exercise questions or revision questions, right, you will notice that they always ask you definitions. Well, a lot of people hate definitions, of course, but the point is, now you might not be able to answer this, it's fine one, but the idea is when you're able to when you can't answer this, is fine one, because why? See, take it at this way. Every time the first question when they say definitions, right, the definition idea is they try to hint you, what is this question about and everything. So take your definition, the question number one, right, as a hint. They're telling you, okay, what is meant by rectifications? Means we are dealing with this thing called rectifications. That's the idea. Okay, so that's why when they say rectification, then you know lah, what's coming. It will be everything about all these relevant rectifications and then diode and everything. So question number one is always the hint for you. What are we doing? What kind of questions they are asking you? What topic they're dealing with? That kind of idea. Okay. So for this rectification idea, simple, right? Now definition for rectification very simple. Is that we dealing with diodes, right? So this is basically the function of diode. Diode is not a rectifier, so the process, of course, we call them as rectifications. All right. Now, what's the function for a diode? The answer is they convert AC to DC. Now, one thing very important, every time, right, when they ask you function for diode, right, so a lot of time people like to answer this thing. They like to say like, oh, diode, they allow current to flow in one way, which is kind of true. But the thing is, when they ask for functions, right, you need to tell them what they do. Okay, you cannot say they allow current flow one way, is because that one is not exactly function. That one is like more towards property idea lah. Okay, so rectification is actually the process, all right, process of converting alternating current, all right, to DC current, direct current lah, basically. Now, regarding short form, you say, hey, can I write AC instead of alternating current? Can I write DC instead of like direct current? You could, but normally I recommend right, the whole thing is better lah, right? The process of converting AC to DC, that's the process of rectifications. Okay, so don't say allow current to flow in one way. They ask you what's rectification, simple. They convert AC to DC, because that's the main function of your diode. Okay, now regarding rectifications, you need to understand now, right? How many type of rectifications do we have? We actually got two. All right, two of them. One of them, why do I say two? Is because, right, you actually get two different rectifications. All right, number one is what we know as half wave, and then number two, right, is what we know as the full wave rectifications. So it will depends on how many diode you're using. And the idea very simple. If it's half wave, right, then we do one diode. If it's a full wave, right, of course people think two, right? The answer is four. Okay, so over here, as you can see, question number two, they say on diagram 6.1, draw the arrangement of four diodes and the suitable power supply to produce a full wave rectification. That's why I told you, right? Regarding rectifications, we got two different types. Number one, you have half wave, and number two, you have full wave. So both, two of them. Now, since they say full wave, and someone they give you hint already, right? Draw the diodes. How? Well, this one usually they draw for you one. In exam, I tell you what, normally okay. The reason I want to do this because it's a bit different than usual. Okay, because normally they will draw, they will kind of give you the setup already, but this one is empty one, so you need to know how to join them. Now, over here for diode full wave one, right, it's supposed to be four. So what happened is that the connections, it will be something like this at first. Okay, this one I roughly draw. The shape not important. Most importantly, you need to draw like a square, like a diamond shape kind of thing. So one side you connect here, and then this one. Now, usually this is what you get in exam, right? They draw for you, and this is already provided. Now, usually what happens is this is empty, 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 empty. So you need to do it yourself. I mean, this one you have to draw everything yourself. A bit more challenging than usual question. That's why I find it interesting. Because normally they will draw like this for you, and then with all of them empty, just like that. Okay, so this is the normal one, but this one more challenging because you have to draw everything yourself. Now, regarding this, what you need to do mainly, right, to focus on to one thing, the arrangement of your diode. How do you know how to arrange them? I teach you a simple trick now, okay? The arrangement for diode, right, it's a parallelogram. You know, it's a parallelogram, right? Basically, it's like you need to make sure one thing is parallelogram means these two sides, right, parallel. In a simple word means same directions. And then the other two sides here also parallel. In a simple word means they will be same directions. That means, okay, that being said, right, the direction here and here will be same. Directions here and here will be same. So in a simple word, if I know here and here, I will know the answer for these two as well. Of course, you ask, then how would I know these two? Am I supposed to memorize? No need as well. Now, what you do, right, very simple. You know, when we read things or whatever, we start from left, we go all the way scan to the right side, right? You just go through like that, you will notice one thing, okay? As you go through, now the first junction, the first knot here, right? You take it as a starting point. You take it as your beginning point, right? So for this starting point, you just imagine it's starting, right? It's like, the beginning of your point. So when you start the day, what happens? Do you go out of your house or do you go into your house? When we start the day, we always go outside, right? You go to school, you go to whatever places, right? So these junctions is the starting. Starting means what? You're supposed to go out. Means the direction for this, right? Supposed to go up. Direction for this, supposed to go up. So then you will know, then you will eventually have the directions here. Okay, one here, pointing outwards, and then another diode here also pointing outwards. That's it. So starting point, we get both going up. Now, once you got these two answers, everything is easy because why? Just the opposite side here, you will get another one diode that is also facing the same way because I say, all right, they are parallelogram. This one facing opposite, they are also parallelogram. So with all this, right, everything will form. Okay, so that's the simple idea of how you connect them. So starting point, out, and then after that, parallelogram, settle. Now, meanwhile, they also ask for suitable power supply, right? Well, you look at this thing, what's the function of rectifications? They convert AC to DC, right? So that means your input here, your power supply is supposed to be AC. Now, how do we do AC? Now, if it's a DC, right, very simple one, we do battery, all right, typical DC, then we do battery. But they wanted AC here. So what do? You draw the wave form of AC. Now, AC special thing is what? Every time, right, the terminal will change one. The directions will change. So over here, what you have, it will be something like this, AC. There you go. Okay. So this is the idea. So that's why the question here, they ask you to label the suitable power supply. As you can see, this one. Do you need to label them AC? Only just drawing sign will do. Then after that, the arrangement for 4 diodes also be settled. So together we got 3 marks here. How this thing works actually? All right. Now, what's the difference between full and half wave? Half wave, right? The signal will become halved. That's why I call half wave, right? Because you see, your signal definitely same one, but you go inside, they will be like this, AC. Okay, AC typical one, and they go up and down because they flow two different directions. So if you have a half wave rectifications, right? The idea is half of the wave will remain. So imagine this one more cycle, like this. Okay, so half of the wave will left lah. So basically for this thing, right? You just need to imagine we're doing half wave. For half wave, right, they will be like this one, and then after that, the bottom part, right, you just cancel off, and cancel off. Now that's what we known as the half wave rectifications. But of course, we all know that this is not good. Why? Because you see, you got current, and then no current, and then got current, and no current. So it will be like stopping. So a bit useless, to be honest, because you think about it, you supply your light bulb, whatever thing, the bulb is going to be flashing what? Like your Christmas light, be flashing, so not good. So this is why we beside half wave, we got one more, it's called full wave. So full wave, basically what they do, instead of cancelling bottom part, right, they flip it up. As in, instead of leaving them blank like this, right, full wave, they will eventually have cycle for every cycle, every time they go through also can. Okay, so that's the difference between half wave and full wave. Okay, so just so you know, I draw for I also show you the half wave in case lah. Okay, so this one it's half wave kind of idea. Okay, this one. Now on diagram below, draw the output waveform. Well, how do we draw this? Simple. As you know, number one, this is a full wave rectifications. So for full wave, right, what you're supposed to do, right, is that to have a signal that is constantly having current. As I told you, right, by right AC do this, right, up and down, and then they will become up, and up. Every cycle also got. How you draw this? Now, whenever you're dealing with CRO, you have to draw it properly, as in like everything has to go up to scale. You cannot just freestyle. Well, you could if they did not mention anything at all. All right, but then the thing about CRO is this. You can see they put all the grid nicely for you, right? Okay. Now, special thing about CRO is that there's no number on the grids. You can see, right? It's like graph, but by right, graph is supposed to have scale, right? You got number, right? But for this one, there's no number one. You have to draw yourself. Then of course you say, how would I know? Then simple. As you can see, here and here. Okay, they will give you the scale anyway. Yep. So one thing about this for CRO, right, you got two scale, just like your graph. You got y-axis, you got x-axis. So for this CRO, right, simple. Okay, for this CRO, right, you got y-axis and x-axis, right? I tell you what, y-axis, right, the scale is called y gain. Okay, and then for x-axis, the scale would be time base. So we got two lah. One of them is y. A lot of people will say, hey, I thought y gain, then shouldn't x gain. There's no x gain one. Okay, so this one is for y-axis, y gain, and then if it's x-axis, right, then this will be a time base. So that's a simple idea here. So we got two, right? Now, here, this one provided, first of all, this is for your y gain one, and then this one is your x gain. Time base basically. How would I know which one is which? Simple. Time base, keyword, time. Yep. So whichever says time, that's your time base, and then the other one will be y gain. So as you can see here, it says 30 milliseconds, right? ms here is not velocity. Velocity is ms minus 1. So this one ms, right? The m here actually stands for milli. Okay, you know how much milli is, right? Milli is a prefix 10 to the power of -3. You typically get like milli, micro, nano, pico, that kind of thing. So now, by the way, one more thing as well. People ask, hey, what about this? What means by this DIV? Well, DIV stands for divisions, right? Like how many divisions? Well, division very simple. You can see there's many grids, right? So for this, every 1 unit like that, it's called 1 division. So when I say Y gain is 2 volt per division, right, meaning that they're telling you this y-axis from 1 unit equivalent to 2 volt. And then after that, the other one you have on the x-axis here, this one will be your x, which is time base. And over here you can see it's 30 milliseconds. So practically means 30. Milli is 10 to the power minus 3. So you need to press your calculator a bit. Okay, so 30, 10 to the power 3. So that's the meaning of per division. Sometimes, right, they will put per cm. Same thing one actually. per cm per division. Say 1 division means 1 unit. Simple. 1 division means 1 unit. That's it. Okay. So for this, you need to draw. Now by right, your AC graph like this, right? Up and down, up and down, up and down, all right? So I tell you what, this one now, you're supposed to draw the output waveform. So idea of output waveform means you need to make sure one thing, they already convert one. Output waveform means you need to do the full wave one. How you draw that? Simple. Number one, there are a few things you should pay attention to. For AC, right, there are two things you need to know. Number one is the graph you can see. They go up highest and then they go down lowest, they go up, right? So you need to know exactly what's the highest point here, what's the lowest point here. Second, right, now, as we draw anything now, all the graph, whatever, you always need to know one oscillation, which is what we know as period, is how much, right? So these questions, as you can see, they give you two information here. Number one, they gave you the frequency. Number two, they give you something weird. People find it like, hey, what does it mean by this RMS, right? Now, this one is actually in your syllabus one, just that a lot of people choose to ignore them. RMS means root mean square. Root mean square. Okay, I'll show you the whole thing. Okay, so what does RMS stands for? Root mean square. Okay, so for this root mean square, right, of course people ask, hey, what is it? Never seen before though. Well, the idea very simple. You pay attention to this keyword will do. Just like on maths, like think about it. What does it mean by mean? Like in terms of mathematics kind of point of view, okay? What means by mean? Mean means average. You get the idea, right? So root mean square, in a simple word, means averaged. Why is that so? Because if you look at AC, right, you got one thing here that you should pay attention to is what? As you can see, the graph go up and down, up and down, up and down. They fluctuate, right? They go from 0 to highest to 0. Let's say, for example, I say this one is 2 volt. So can you say that AC is 2 volt? Cannot. Why? Only this one 2 volt, but here, all these points are not 2 volt. So this is why, right, you need to find the average for the entire AC. So for this root mean square, right, this thing it only meant for AC one. Yes, you will only see AC kind of signal AC graph, right? They show you this for this simple reason. Okay. Well, then of course you say, then how do I calculate? Normally, how to calculate one? This thing got formula one. Yes, root means square. The formula it's calculated this way. I'm not sure whether you learned before or not, but I don't think it's provided in formula list. So you probably need to remember this. Now, root means square. Okay, for AC, this is how we calculate them. We take the peak, as in the highest voltage, divided by square root 2. Why square root 2? That's the formula anyway, because the graph, sine graph like that, so that's why it becomes square root 2. Yep, so the formula a bit special, a bit different than usual. Root means square, it's peak over square root 2. Why they provide this to you? Because when you draw a graph, as I said, I need you to know the highest point, right? The highest point means what actually? The highest point here and here actually means the peak voltage. You get it? So what you need to do, very simple, simply substitute the root mean square voltage 2.82. That's why you find the value very weird, right? Because you got a square root 2 thing. Okay, so what you need to do is, now, let me bring this down here. Okay. For this, what you simply need to do is just substitute the root mean square value inside and then find out the peak, the highest how much first. So first thing you put inside, this one is 2.8284 equals to peak voltage divided by square root 2. So for the peak voltage, it will equals to 2.8284 multiplied square root 2. I think you get 3.9996. When you round it off, simple as this, 4 volt. So peak voltage means what? The highest point here equivalent to 4 volt. Now that means right, the lowest point here also 4 volt. Of course it's gonna be negative because it's opposite directions. You get it? So why they give you root mean square? Because they need to find the peak. After that, frequency, I think people are familiar with this, right? Because you need to find period. So how do you calculate the frequency? I mean, the formula for frequency typically right? It's provided I think it's provided in formula list, but I'm not gonna always tell you rely on it, very dangerous one. So try to remember the formula a bit on yourself. So for this one, next thing you need to calculate is the frequency. So for frequency equals to 1 over T. Okay, so 8.33333, you substitute inside, equals to 1 over T. So T equals to 1 divided by 8.3333. You will get 0.12 seconds. Now, once you got this, you will be able to find out one more information is that for the period for this AC, it's 0.12 seconds. So with this, you will be able to draw your graph. Because why? So now you know what? The highest point is going to be 4 volt. And just now we mentioned, right, the Y gain 2 volt per divisions. It means that one of this is 2 volt. Since they say 4 volt, now 2 volt for 1 unit. If I need 4 volt, then obviously what does it mean by that? This means 2 divisions. See that? 2 unit. Well, now next, the period, it's 0.12 seconds. But of course you say, hey, but this one is like 30 watt. How can it be so small? Now, mind you, this one is 30 milli, you know. Yep. So for 30 milli, right, you need to press calculator. Milli, it's 10 to power of -3. So 30 milli, if you multiply by 30 multiplied by milli, right, you're supposed to get this thing actually equals to 0.03 seconds only. Yep. So 0.03 seconds for 1 unit. That means, right, 0.12, you divide by 0.03, this will actually equals to 4 unit, means 4 divisions. So based on this, you know that your graph highest will go up to 2 unit, lowest go down to 2 unit as well. And then the period, it's supposed to be 1, 2, 3, 4 unit, 1 cycle. Now, so the AC will look a bit like this. Okay, original signal will be like this. Highest 2, lowest 2. And then entire cycle, it's actually 4 unit here, right? But here's the thing, we are not trying to draw AC. We want to draw the output waveform. Means now you're having a full wave rectification. So you need to put this up. So that's why ultimately you get answers like this. From here to here, 1 cycle, poof, 1 point. See that? Now this one typical normal, right? Now by right, your AC, it's here. By right, okay? You have original version is this. So what you need to do now, very simple, just flip this up back inside, because now you have rectifications. Idea of rectification means you are basically trying to flip it so that it become a DC. Okay, so this one just need to continue, up and up, keep drawing the whole thing. You will have everything. Okay, so keep drawing this one as well. Keep drawing until you draw the whole thing. Of course, how many am I supposed to draw? I would strongly suggest you draw everything off. So there you go. Okay, this question not so easy after all. And of course, here's the thing. Okay, and of course, here's the thing. I need you to understand one thing, right? What we're doing, it's the hard one. Okay, because your SPM coming so already, so we're not trying to do something easy and then just let you go like that. Okay, so to be honest, in SPM, is it possible to come up question like that? Yeah, definitely, right? I mean, you got K-bar one. I would say this is kind of K-bar. They need you to think before you can actually go through the question everything. Okay. So this one, you can see you need to take extra steps to achieve one. You don't just freehand and then draw yourself. Nope. You're supposed to take steps like, calculate the root mean square, become peak, calculate the frequency, and then achieve. Getting the idea? There we go. Okay. So far, any question for this drawing part? Very good. Can I move on, Sabo? All right. Next one, output. The output circuit is connected to a light bulb. Okay, now your output is connected to a bulb. It is observed that the bulb is flashing. Suggest another component should be added to address this issue. Label the component on 6.1. Well, what's wrong? Like, I thought people will say, hey, I thought full wave, now we have a more constant supply already. Right or not? I thought we're supposed to have a more stable and more constant supply, right? It fluctuates up and down, right? Well, yes, it's definitely better than half wave. Half wave, it's like you got current and then no current and then got current and no current. This one, right, you constantly get current, but there's a problem here. Why? Because you notice they also fluctuate, right? As in they go up and down, right? They go from lowest to highest to lowest to highest to lowest, highest still, right? So yes, even you do half wave, right? Even you do full wave already, the bulb is gonna be flashing anyway. Yep. Then how? Your problem very simple is that you need the more stable one. You need a more smooth one. Here's your keyword. I need a more smooth current. So what do we need? Smoothing, capacitor, exactly. Now, we need to put in another capacitor over here. Okay, label on 6.1 later. Now, first of all, I think you all know what's capacitor, right? Capacitor, it's like a power bank, right? So what's the idea of power bank? Whenever you have electricity, you charge it. And then when you need it, you will use whatever stored inside, right? Now, same thing here. Whenever you have current, you will charge the capacitor. And whenever the current start dropping, it go down, go down, go down, right? And that's when your capacitor kicks in. It's like a water bottle kind of idea. When you got water, you store water. When you need the water, you pour the water out. So repeat the cycle. Well, where do we connect them? Now in 6.1 here. Now, one simple rules, your capacitor always connect parallel. Parallel to what? Parallel to your component. Okay, parallel to the component, as in like, I mean, okay, people ask, hey, what's this for actually? Well, this thing, right, for this R here, we call it as a load. Okay, what means by load? Actually means whatever thing you connected to. Usually we put an R there, just, to as a symbol only. It could be anything actually. This thing could be a light bulb, could be anything. Like load means whatever thing you connected to, right? Then you need to make sure one thing is that you need to connect your capacitor parallel to the load. Of course, after the diode you put in front got no use one. You're supposed to, after go through all these things, they come out here, then they start supplying. Why do we do parallel? The reason very simple. Imagine this. After all this rectification done already, right? Flow until here. Notice junctions, right? So whenever there is current flow until this point, what happened? Now, because junction, right? Some of the current will continue flow through the load. Some of them get stopped inside. Some of them, they will charged all the way into your capacitor. You see the idea, right? Yep. So capacitor, that's why. Now, no, you cannot put capacitor series one. It won't work. It's like for example, as I said, it's like a water bottle, right? So if you imagine you connect a water pipe straight away to the bottle, what happened? They're gonna block all the water. You understand? It's like this. Water flow through. Okay. The water go through here, go through here, go through here. So until here, they go inside, and then they will store charge here. But you notice one thing or not? When I draw, right, I don't draw through. It's because it's like a water bottle. All your water gets stored inside, man. Do you expect your water gonna go through the bottle again? That one is leaking already, what? That's the idea. So this is why, right? They store here, the rest continue to flow. See that? They will continue to flow one cycle. But if you pay attention, they will be stopped at the capacitor. So if you go and put the capacitor series, for example, you put it here, what's wrong? Your current is gonna go here and then charge and stuck. Nothing go through. How are you supposed to have current to anywhere actually? In fact, you don't even have a complete circuit now. So never connect capacitor in series. Capacitor, right? Always parallel. And simple as this, always they're parallel to your load. You get the idea, right? So there we go. Okay. So for this one here, load. This one here, capacitor. All good. Okay. Now continue a bit more. Next thing, we have this one. On diagram below, draw the output waveform again after the component added. Well, this one is better now. How we do it? Well, to do this now simple because it's the same current, right? You don't need to calculate all these period, root mean square anymore, right? It's basically just the exact same thing, right? Now let me cheating a bit. I copy this. Yeah, I bring this over here. Okay, so this is your original signal just now, right? This is the one we dealing with just now. No, no. Okay. But then of course we complain, right? This thing not good because still you're still gonna have flashing bulb. So what do you do now? Well, this is whenever your capacitor, whenever your current start dropping, right? Then the capacitor will release whatever they stop. Okay. So how do we draw this? Simple. Draw. I tell you what. A lot of people like to freehand, like you straight away draw the whole thing. Not to say cannot. Okay. Not to say cannot, but your drawing not so nice, to be honest. It will look a bit ugly. So what I recommend everybody do is you draw this one still, like basic one. You draw first. You draw the typical full wave one. Then after that, what you need to do is just connect a bridge across the two peak, and then repeat, and then repeat, and then repeat. Now there's a few things to pay attention to. Okay, you look at this one first. Number one, you notice the drawing. I mean, you look at the blue color line. What do you notice? You realize that the graph is, I mean, the line is not exactly straight, right? Yes, we are not doing like straight away from here to here to here, right? Because capacitor, it's like a water bottle. You pour the water out, what's going to happen? The water will get lesser and lesser, right? So by right, they're supposed to drop back. Okay, not supposed to get same level. So when you draw this out, you need to make sure one thing, the graph is slanting, 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 slanting. All right. Now, is it very particular? Yes, as in like your shape need to be very obvious lah. Okay. Now, one more thing you should probably pay attention to as well. The starting point should be more or less the same height. Okay. The ending point should be more or less same as well. To be honest, the game measure you not exactly, but I would recommend you draw nicer like that. All right. Not done yet. Not done yet. After this, what you need to do? You need to erase off the bottom part here. Okay. This part. Now, a lot of people, you just freestyle and you draw this. Actually, not true one. By right, what you're supposed to do is, now this part here, okay, or this part here, you are supposed to make it dotted, dotted, dotted. Means you erase it, basically. Now, why? Because there is current one, just that you're not using them, okay? Just that you're not using them. That's why you make it dotted, dotted, dotted like this. So you need to show that the current, this one exists, but we are using a blue one because the capacitor releases the charge. So this is the part where they charge the capacitor, and this is the part where they release the charge from the capacitor. So by right, you need to draw the, that's why I said draw the basic one first, okay? And then after that, connect the bridge already, right? Erase off the bottom part. And then now you have a very complete and nice version. So it will be a bit like this. See that? There you go. This is your drawing. Understand? So what happened now? Your supply will be from here, okay? And then go up, and then go down again, and then go up again, and then go down again, and then go up again, down, up, down, up, down. Now you look at the drawing, that one I highlight in blue. You realize they are much more stable as compared to just now, where we do only half wave, they're gonna be like, sorry, only a full wave, they're gonna be like 0 to maximum to 0 to maximum now. Okay, this one is better, right? They will go like maybe okay, 4 volt and then become 3.8 volt and then 4 volt and then 3.8, 4 volt, 3.8, 4 volt, 3.8, 4 volt, 3.8. Yep, they still fluctuate a little bit, but it's almost not noticeable one. You can't really see them in real life, to be honest. You don't actually, okay? So this one, it will be much more smoother. And then the light bulb, actually, you pay attention to the light bulb, right? I mean, you will notice they kind of flashing a bit. I'm not sure whether you've all seen this before or not. You know, sometimes you use your camera, your phone camera, you take photo of the light bulb, you see them kind of flashing. That's the main reason, because our eyeball can't really tell, because our eyeball can't tell such a high frequency flashing one. Yep, but your camera can. So sometimes you point a camera to a light bulb, you see them flashing. That's the main reason. They are not exactly stable. I mean, to be honest, the amount is not that big difference. They will be like 3 volt, 2.8 volt, 3 volt, 2.9 volt. A little bit drop, can't tell differences. Okay. So this one you can see one shot we go through everything. Okay. If you do notice, right, the question is extra long for one simple reason, because of course, when we're doing revision or exercise, right, we're not going to just do one questions out of nowhere. We pick one from some state paper or whatever. Okay, this question you can see I made it extra long, and then I try to cover everything you should know about diodes. Okay, so we start from like basic definitions, and then the arrangement of the diode, how to draw. After that, we go for this one as well, the drawing for your output signal, full wave. Since we talk about full wave, why not we just extend some more, right? How do we make it better? Capacitor, smoothing, then the output. So you see, we go from one package all the way. Okay, now move on some more. We can always extend the question more. All right. So after the component mentions, sorry, after the component mentions, added inside, the situation improves, but the bulb still flashing. You say, why like this? I mean, I told you what's wrong? They are never, I mean, they're not exactly same, right? They are like 4 volt, 3.8, 4, 3.8, that kind of idea. So you want to improve it furthermore. How? Well, there's 2 points you can talk about. Number one is the capacitor. Number two is the connecting wire. Well, first thing first, the capacitor, how to improve it actually? Well, capacitor, now, capacitor is like power bank, right? So what's the number one thing that we pay attention to? What's the first thing that we always pay attention to for a power bank? It's the amount, like you buy power bank, you look at a number, the 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 mAh. The capacity. Well, for capacitor, very simple. The unit for capacitor, it's capacitance. You think about it, it's like, what's the unit for resistor? Resistance, right? What's the unit for capacitor? Capacitance. It's basically the volume, the size. So you think about it, what do you want? You want the capacitor bigger or smaller? You want your water bottle big or small? Of course, bigger. Why? Because can store more water, right? Exactly. So now I teach you one word, okay? Capacitance. It's the amount, it's the volume of the capacitor. Right? So bigger capacitance. Why is that so? Now, it's like you have a small bottle. So when you charge the capacitor, it's like you refill water. But if the bottle very small, right? You refill a while, full already, right? And then when you start pouring, after you pour a while, then the water start getting lesser. You can feel the pressure start dropping on. At first you pour, the water flow very fast, and then it will slow down and then finish. But imagine you are using a huge bottle, right? A bottle that can take like 2 liters of water. So number one, when you charge, you can charge a lot, right? And second thing is when you pour it, you will notice the pressure stay similar. Because why? You got a lot of water to be released right now. So that's why the bigger capacitance, one thing about this, they were actually, all right, of course you can say, able to store more charge and produce a smoother current output. Okay, smoother output current. What does it mean by that? Now, if you use a capacitor with a larger capacitance, what's going to happen is like this. The graph here, the blue color part, right? Instead of dropping so much, right? Now they drop lesser. It will become something like this. Yes, you compare this one and this one. It'll still drop a bit, definitely, still drop a bit. But you notice the point, right? Much better now. Much better now, right? That's the idea. So that's why you can see this is better compared to the bottom one. You understand? So bigger capacitance, store more charge is one. I mean, this one I think is better to say store more charge because store more energy not recommended, to be honest. Yes, because capacitor is to store charge. You say store energy is not wrong, but the better word to use is charge. Okay, because that's what you're doing. You are charging and discharging, charging and discharging. So store charge. Next one, of course, 3 marks. The connecting wire, how? You want better, you want smoother current flow. Of course, you want to make sure your current flow, number one, more, number two, smooth, right? So for the connecting wire, what you need to do, you have to make sure the wire have a lower resistance. Why? Because lower resistance means what? Yep, you will get a higher current flow. Okay, the bulb will be brighter as well. Lower resistance, higher current flow, lesser energy loss as well. Okay. Because the question did ask what? You need to find a way to stabilize the circuit furthermore and enhance the bulb brightness. So lower resistance definitely, higher current flow, and then bulb will be brighter. Or you can say the bulb produce more energy also can. Lesser heat loss and lesser energy loss. Okay, no need to mention about heat loss. Okay. So there you go. You see, we go from one shot, everything. Larger diameter can, of course. Larger diameter can. I mean, if you say larger diameter, then your reasoning must mention lower resistance, higher current flow. Connecting wire, you can mention a lot of things here. This one, because resistance lower, you can do many different factor. Diameter, length, resistivity, all these things. They didn't specify. They just put a connecting wire. So anything that changes resistance of the wire, it's accepted. Yep. So you can say lower resistance, right? You can say larger diameter, shorter length, lower resistivity also can. Or you can even say like copper wire, all this same reason. Okay. All right. So you can see this whole question here, it's about your diode connections. Okay, we start from diode, and then everything, drawing, settle, theory also settle, right? Mm. If they ask material, then you say lower resistivity. Then your reasoning, you say lower resistance. Okay, resistivity is like the point, and then resistance is like the total value, the reason. A lot of people always say like, hey, what's the difference between resistivity and resistance? Resistivity is like um ohm per meter kind of idea. It's like if I say like copper has a resistivity of 100, it means that every meter of this copper is 100. But the total amount it's called resistance. So let's say lah, resistivity for copper is 100. Every 1 meter of copper, 100. If I got 5 meter, 500. The 500 is what? Total, which is resistance. Okay. So yes, you could. Sometimes when they ask material, you say, I don't know, I'm not sure whether is it copper, then how? You could actually. You can say the wire is supposed to made of material with lower resistivity, all right? So that the resistance is lower. You can write this way. Okay, next, one more thing. This one here, we go through a bit of essay as well. Diagram 6.2 shows 4 transistor. Okay, this one, I tell you what, last year transistor came out, okay? But then the thing is, it wasn't really like a long question. It's just a short one anyway. So is it possible they do essay for this? Actually can one. I mean, definitely can. There's no rule saying that, right? Oh, the question do diode, then everything must be diode. Even the essay must be diode as well. No. I mean, usually they like to do it this way. But diode essay is harder, lesser thing to ask, to be honest. So that's why we will normally do diode on top. You know, normally an essay 30 marks, right? Then they do like 10 marks in front diodes, and then the 10 marks behind is essay. So over here, you need find one, determine the most suitable and functional circuit to light up the bulb automatically when it is dark. Okay, now remember transistor, we always got two usage for transistor. Number one, we use it as a current amplifier. That one not as famous, right? Second one is the one that famous now. We use it as an automated switch. And that's what you do. Okay, it turns on and off based on, it turns on and off automatically based on your surrounding conditions. You got two type also, light operated, heat operated. Light operated, it's like uh, uh, they uses different kind of component. Practically got two only. One is called LDR, one is called thermistor. LDR is the one that detects light. Thermistor is the one that detects temperature, because thermistor, thermal resistor. So thermistor depends on temperature, and then LDR means light dependent resistor. So depends on light. Okay. So over here, of course, we are doing LDR because why? You need to light up the bulb automatically when it's dark. So you want it to turn on, it's dark. Now, let me tell you one thing. Please, you need to understand one thing is that you cannot always think that, oh, I thought this is normal. You know, isn't it supposed to be a norm that light bulb turns on when it's dark? Well, depends on what they want. Like the question could ask, I need the bulb to light up automatically when it's bright. Then same then you do nothing wrong what, right? You want it turn on daytime also can, nighttime also can, depends what, right or not. So let's say street lights, okay, outside lamp post, you want them turned on in the dark at night. Makes sense, right? Now what if I have a signboard, for example? Okay, I have a restaurant. I want my restaurant to and my restaurant only operates in the daytime, and I need my signboard to turn on in the daytime. Nothing wrong, what, right? So you just follow instruction, see what they want. Okay, so over here you got 4 different settings here, right? And then this is the hint for you. You need to determine the position of LDR. Where do you put the LDR? Connection for the battery, and then the value for resistor, and also the position of the bulb. Where should you put the bulb and everything? How do we do this? First thing first, position of LDR. That's one thing that you can see. It's either they put it down here, they put it up, or else they put it. I'll tell you one thing, okay? A simple trick to recognize this thing. How do you know whether the bulb turn on? When will the bulb turn on, or when will the transistor activate, right? Simple trick. You just see where is the LDR. And the way to remember very easy one. You just imagine, right, the LDR correspond to the location of your sun. Okay, now if you want the circuit to work, if you want the circuit to activate in the daytime, think about it. During the day, right, where is the sun? Is it up or is it down? Daytime, sun is up, right? Then you put the LDR on top, up. Okay. Now, let's say you want the bulb to turn on at night. Then what do? You just think about it. At night, right? Where is the sun? Up or down? The sun is down, right? There you go. Then you put the LDR down. So how do I, at the first glance, I know, okay, this circuit turn on at night. This circuit turns on in the daytime. This circuit turns on at night. This circuit turns on at night. Simple. I just look at where is the location of LDR. If it's at bottom right, means sun is down, nighttime. Sun is down, nighttime. Sun is up, daytime. Sun is down, nighttime. So you want it turned on when it's dark, right? That means what? When the sun is down, when it's nighttime, right? So that's why, first thing first, location for LDR, we're supposed to pick them at the bottom here. Okay, we're supposed to take a LDR at the bottom, LDR at the bottom, LDR at the bottom. See that? Follow, right? There you go. So next time they want to turn on daytime, bright, then put here. Put here. All right. Now, next thing is you need to determine the connections of the battery terminal. Now, battery terminal, depends on one thing. This battery actually depends on what? Depends on your transistor. Well, transistor, you got two types, right? You got NPN, PNP. I tell you what, very easy one, because why? You just look at the arrow. Transistor, the only difference is the arrow they give it to you. One of them will point down this way, and then the other one it points up this way. Yep. And the arrow, just imagine, it's like your direction of current. So if you see an arrow point like that, right? Okay, they are trying to tell you the current flow this way. So this one, how? Think about it. How your current flow from where to where? Current go from positive to negative, right? So if they point this way, means that this is positive, this is negative. So P to N, see that? So P, N on top must be N, settle. To be honest, a lot of people ask me, hey, what's the difference between NPN and PNP? The arrow and the current flow direction different. Basically, okay, NPN and PNP, right? The only difference is how you connect this. Yep, how you connect your battery. If they give you an NPN, you want to make sure the current flow like this. That's why why you put the battery this way, right? You know why you put the battery this way? Current come up from here, flow, 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 flow. They can go one way and then go back one. This means you are correct. See that? If they give you a PNP transistor, you will see the arrow pointing this way, like this one. Then you're supposed to put positive terminal here so that your current can flow one cycle this way. Yeah, so PNP and NPN, they work exactly the same. The only difference is whether you connect the battery positive on top or positive at the bottom. And very easy, look at the arrow. The arrow indicates the current flow. So if they point down means your current flow this way. That's why you must make sure positive on top, negative at the bottom. If the arrow points up, then you want to make sure positive here, flow one way, one cycle. Yep. So since all of this is doing NPN transistor, then of course we're supposed to connect the battery, positive on top, positive on top, positive on top. All these are correct lah. Beside this, this is wrong because your current flow like that, it won't work. Okay. And of course, one more thing, we have the position of the bulb. Where do you put the bulb? If you look at it, you notice lah. It's either they put it here or they put it here. They put it here. It's either they put up here, they put here. Well, first thing, then go back to one thing here. It's that, what's the difference between the three terminals we have? For transistor, we always got, for transistor, we always have like three legs, right? The three legs is what actually? The three different legs is your three terminals: collector, base, emitter. Collector, base, emitter. Okay. Now the one that is most important, just remember this: regardless NPN or PNP, the one that's most important, right, is the middle guy. This is the base. Yep. Why is it? Why do I say it's most important? Because right, literally you can imagine base is like the switch. Base is like the switch. So you want to see whether the transistor on or off, you look at base on. When there is current flow in base, the transistor activate. When there's no current flow, it does not work. You can imagine this way, right? A lot of people ask, hey, actually, how do I look at transistor? I tell you what, transistor is a bit like a water tap. And the most typical water tap like you will see out there, okay? You usually get a knob on top like this. My drawing a bit ugly, sorry. Like this, and then you got the mouth here, boop, come out. That's your typical water tap that you see, right? The usual one like this. Okay. Current is like water. Okay. And literally, we use the word current to describe water flow as well. So current come from here, the water flow, and then they go until here. Now, can they go through or not? Well, that will depend whether you turn the tap or not. Am I right? If you open the tap, the water can go through. If you don't open the tap, water can't go through, right? So the tap idea here, okay, this knob on top, right? You can imagine this knob here, it's like base. And then this one here, it's like collector. And after that, what comes out, it's basically called emitter. That will be easy to understand, right now. Because why? Number one, this one flow or not depends on who. Water flows or not depends on the tap here. Make sense? Because if you don't open a tap, no matter how many water you have here, a big, huge water tank also, no water at all. Nothing flows, right? That's why I tell you what, base is most important. And next thing is, if I increase the base, what means by increasing base? It's like you open the tap furthermore, open the tap bigger. Then that would allow more water can go through, right? That explains one thing, right? People tell you, why do we say transistor, another function as an amplifier? That's the reason, because you open the tap, the bigger the tap you open, the more water you can go through, then eventually they will cause the collector current here to increase together as well. Notice that? So you see, all the control is here. It's basically the tap. You open, you supply base, then current go through. Okay? You supply more base, you open the tap bigger, more water can go through. That's the simple idea. So to decide whether whether this transistor on or off, very simple one. You just see whether got current flow here or not. Okay, so over here you got 3 terminal. Up here is called collector. Down the middle one is base, and then the bottom one is emitter. Okay, where should you put the bulb actually? Simple. Every time, right, we need to put where? You need to make sure one thing: the bulb turns on and off due to surrounding condition, right? So nobody put here one actually. You know why? This one you cannot put a bulb here. It won't work one. Yes. Instead, later I explain to you lah. Okay, we always put a resistor in front of the base. They got use one. You will notice one actually for every diagram for transistor you see, right? Surely you see a resistor here. Yep, but we never talk about that, right? It's always there, but seems useless. Calculation also never ask you do and everything, right? That one later. Okay, so for this one, right, we're supposed to put the bulb here, up here, because this is the one that current will go through the collector. Okay. And finally, the value for resistor R, as in this one here. Okay, now I tell you, a lot of people, you kind of forgot already, okay? How a transistor circuit works, right? Now, let's say we take this for example. We take this diagram for example, okay? Now, current always come from where? Current always start from positive, right? So you follow, current come from here, flow until junction. What happens? Typical current flow until junction, they will normally separate, right? Some of them will continue to flow, some of them go through. But here's the thing, when the current go down here, until this point, right, can I go through? Now, how to know whether can go through or not? Very simple one. You pay attention here. Is there any base current? Did I draw any current into base yet? Not yet, right? Simple. If you don't see any current, means no base. No base current, transistor off, nothing goes through. And listen, current not going to stop there and wait for you one, You say, oh, never mind, wait, right? Then got current go through, but right? No, if the current cannot go through collector, then basically the whole thing be gone. No current flow because can't go through. Getting the idea? Now, continue flow until here. Continue flow until this junction, right? Now, this one important. This is your deciding factor. Because why? Now, you say a junction, what? They're supposed to split, right? No, they won't. Here, right, at these junctions, right, your current will only go one way. How do I know which way to go? Of course, you ask, right? Now, this is when you need to remember one thing. Okay, over here, do you notice that two of this? Now, let's just ignore everything. You just imagine, right? We look at these two only. They look like what? What kind of circuit is this? It's a series. Am I right? Okay. Now, how about this? I take all this away. Later we come back. And this take away. Okay. Imagine all this gone. How about this? Now, this thing is what? It's a simple series. Am I right? Now, for series circuit, for those who don't know, for series circuit, right, what happened? The voltage will distribute according to ratio. As in what? Here got 3 volt, right? What happened to this 3 volt? They will distribute to 2 of them. Now, they're not going to be equal. You cannot tell me this one is 3 and 3. That's parallel. Parallel voltage same. Okay? Parallel voltage same. But series, the voltage they sum together. Meaning that if you take this one and this one, you sum together, right, they're equal 3 volt. Then, of course, next question you ask, hey, then can I do 1.5, 1.5? Well, not to say cannot. It only be like this. It will only be like this if and only if they have the same resistance. They have if and only if they have the same resistance. You get it? So the voltage by right for series, how? They will distribute according to ratio. Okay? Because the LDR and the R here, the resistance will be different. And especially LDR, it changed based on surrounding light intensity. So how could it be the same, right? Exactly. Now, one thing also, people always confuse one. Now, as we say, we want the bulb to light up when it's dark, right? So first thing first, you know how LDR works or not? Actually, LDR, thermistor, they all work the same one. LDR, thermistor, they all work the same one. They always reverse. The resistance and the surrounding condition always terbalik, reverse. As in what? Okay. Now, for example, LDR, right, like this. If your light intensity higher, increased, then the resistance going to decrease. Reverse one. Same for thermistor as well. Thermistor detect temperature, right? Same thing also. Temperature go up, resistance go down. Thermistor is not like usual conductor. That's why I say no matter you have LDR or thermistor, right? Say they will reverse depending on surrounding condition. Light goes up, resistance go down. Thermistor, temperature goes up, resistance go down. Now, so here, light goes down, resistance will go up, it will increase. Okay. Now, it's dark. When the surrounding is dark means what? When the surrounding is dark, meaning that which one is our answer? This surrounding dark means your light intensity, it's low, right? That means the LDR is going to have a higher resistance. In fact, a very high resistance. So this thing, resistance high. So as compared, right, the R here will eventually be lower. Now this is a fixed resistor, as in they don't change on the value. Always fixed value, normally about 10 kilovolt, 10 kilo ohm. But then of course can be different value, but they will be fixed. They're not going to be like LDR, they change. It's a fixed resistor. If it's 10, it's 10. If it's 20, it's 20. They never change. Okay, so now here's the thing. These two, which one is going to consume more voltage? Remember I said, right, 3 volt, it will distribute to them. Okay, which one gets more from the 3 volt? This is the one thing that people confuse every single time. The answer is the one with higher resistance. The one with higher resistance is going to have higher voltage. People will say, hey, no lah, I thought like resistance higher, lesser current one. Exactly. Resistance higher, the current is lesser, but voltage consumes it's higher. It's like this. Resistance, you see, when it's higher means what? You need to push harder for current to flow through, right? Resistance is like frictions. If you want something to move through something has a lot of frictions, what happens? You have to push harder, yes? You need more force, you need more energy, you need more voltage. See that? Or how about this now, okay? We do a simple maths calculation here. Remember V equals IR? Simple. The typical formula that every time you use. V equals IR. Think about these two. What's the relationship between V and R? When your resistance goes up, what happens to your voltage? They increase together, what, right now, provided your resistance, your current constants, and it is going to be constant because why? It's a series circuit, right now. So there you go, resistance high, remember this all. resistance higher. Now, I'm not when I say voltage up, it's not like, suddenly the voltage become higher. No, V up means the voltage they consumes be more. You get it? Resistance higher, consume more voltage. Resistance lower, they consume lesser voltage. Okay? Now that's what happened in the dark. Okay, now back to the situation now. When it's dark, the light intensity drop, the resistance increases. Whose resistance increase? LDR. All right, as the resistance of LDR increases, obviously the R here become lower. Higher resistance means higher voltage. Lower resistance, then of course they consume lesser voltage. Now you will create two different parts that has two different voltage here. All right, remember I said the junction here, they're not going to separate because for one reason. You notice up here, the voltage level is lower. Down here, the voltage level is higher. Now, one more thing you should remember, okay, in case you don't know, right? Current, right, they always flow from high voltage to low voltage. Current, they always flow from high voltage to low voltage. Beside positive to negative, right, they must, current must go from high voltage to low voltage. Now, here's the problem. Up here is low voltage, right? Can I go to the bottom part that is high voltage? I said current need to go from high to low, right? So low, can I go to high? Cannot, right? That means basically they blocks it. Then you got no choice, what? What else can you go? You can only go inside here. See that? Because bottom cannot go down already, ma. That's why your current being forced to go inside here. And there we go. Once you got base current coming in, transistor activates. Then the collector current will go through one cycle, go out from emitter, and then one cycle, go back inside. Now your light bulb turns on. Okay, so this is how the circuit works. And of course, the resistance for R here supposed to be lower. Yes, why? Because lower, then only as compared this one higher. So that's the trick to do it. Okay, so answer will be P lah, definitely. The answer is P because why? Number one, we put the LDR at the bottom so that it turns on at night. Light bulb, we put it at collector because that's where the current will go through. Battery, we must connect this way because only connect this way, your current will flow through the transistor MPN. Okay, and then after that, this one, lower resistance means the resistance here is higher and then they get more voltage. Okay. Is it possible the light under the transistor? Can. As in you put here, you mean you put the light bulb at the emitter part, right? It can also. You can put here, actually. Not much of differences, one actually. Not much of differences. Okay. So there you go. This is a simple circuit we have for your transistor concept. Now, of course, let me tell you one thing. When I explain to you, all right, I use layman term. In exam, no need to say this. You don't have to say like, oh, current high go to low, low go to high. No need. Waste of time. I give you a format in case lah, okay? I really think that is more important, but in case lah, if they ask you to explain this circuit, okay, like they imagine before essay, they give you this circuit, and then they ask you, based on this circuit, explain during night time what happened. Then how you're supposed to explain, right? There's no need to say what current high cannot, low cannot go to high. That's why they went inside. No need. All right. I'll tell you a simple way to do this. I give you a format. Transistor actually very easy one. I don't understand why people hate it a lot. Because transistor, the idea very simple. Number one, the explanation is a format. You fill in the blank only. Second thing, to recognize whether turn on daytime, nighttime, also very easy one. I give you the answer also. There you go. All right. Now, a bit of space here. So I think we can. Now, never mind. I think I just give you a new a bit of space here we can write. Okay. Now, let me cheating a bit. I copy this again. Okay, first of all, again, this circuit turns on at night. How do I know turns on at night? Because the LDR at the bottom. So how to explain this? Look, normally they ask one. Usually they ask the situation where the circuit works. I mean, they could ask the other way around. I tell you what, no need memorize both one. The answer same anyway. Okay. How to do this? Look, first thing first, you take a screenshot later, no need to copy. Now, so first thing first, we talk about the surrounding conditions. When you explain yourself, try to be more detailed. Always this one thing I tell my students is that you imagine, right, your teacher don't know, she never learned physics. So when you explain yourself, be more detailed, be more precise, explain more, right? So this one, it's at night time, the light bulb turns on, right? Because LDR at the bottom. So you tell them during night time, what happened? Okay, first thing first, night. What's the first thing we mentioned? Exactly, the surrounding light intensity decreases, which causes what? LDR change together with light intensity, right? So when the light drops, what happened? Yes, which causes resistance of LDR to increase. Then the next thing, what do you say? LDR resistance increase means the voltage increase together, V equals IR, right? Potential difference across LDR increases as the resistance increase. Now, third point, it becomes the crucial. Because why? Remember I say, right, the voltage low here cannot go too high. That's why they go inside, right? Now, there's no need to say current flow where. I tell you what, you just pay attention to this thing, okay? If there is base current, if there is current go into base, then you say base current increase. When there's no base current, then say decrease. That's it. See that? Okay. So here got current now because they were being forced inside, right? Then you tell them the base current increases when the base, the base current increases as the base voltage increase. And when you got base means what? The transistor will be switched on, activated, whatever word you want to use also can. Once the transistor on, collector can go through, right? Again, no need to say go through whatever. Just say therefore, the collector current will also increase gradually because your transistor activate, okay? And the bulb will light up. There you go. Right. Now, first thing, of course, people will ask one question is that you will see this word that you can't understand. You ask like, hey, where's base voltage, perhaps, or what's base voltage, right? Now, here, this circuit here, okay, first of all, this particular part here, this part is called base circuit. And then when they say base voltage, actually refer to where? Here to here, this branch. Now, regardless whoever is here, not necessarily must be LDR one. Sometimes could be a resistor, but doesn't matter. No matter who, right? When we say base voltage, we refer to the voltage across this, from here to here. This part, it's called base voltage. So you know why do we say base current increase as the base voltage increase? Because when the voltage here is high, then the current will eventually go inside base, right? So base voltage increase, they force the current into base. That's why base current increase together. There you go. So that's how you explain. And I tell you what, okay, the word I highlight, you just change it if they ask you the other way around. Okay, hold on for a second. Let me highlight everything first. This one. There you go. So what I highlight is everything you need to change. So this one, nighttime, answer like this, right? During nighttime, surrounding light intensity drop, LDR increase. Potential difference across LDR increase together as the resistor increase. The base current increase because the base voltage increase. That's why the transistor turn on. Collector current can go through means the collector current will increase together and the bulb turns on. Now, if they ask you daytime, let's say the same circuit, what happened during the day? It won't work, right? You also need to explain on. Then how? Simple what? Change the word. During daytime, the surrounding light intensity increases, which causes the resistant LDR decrease. Potential difference across LDR decrease as the resistant decrease. Base voltage decreases as the base current decreases as the base voltage decrease, and the transistor switch off. Collector decrease, light bulb turn off. See, same sentence, everything same. Replace the word only. That's it. Transistor very easy one, not as scary as everybody think it is, to be honest. There we go. Okay. Getting it. Any questions so far? Are we good? Okay. So this one you take a screenshot, no need copy. You want to copy, you copy later. Okay. And there you go. Settle. And we are done. Oh no, we are not done. One more. Suggest one method to protect the transistor from being destroyed. Explain. There we go. You see, remember I said, right, every time you will see a resistor here, but then we never talked about it. Remember, we only talked about these two, right? Why is this always there? Now, the resistor here has one simple function. Okay, normally the value very low. I mean, not to say very low, as compared to others, is low. 1 kilo ohm. Okay, well, how come? Now, this one simple. This guy only serves one purpose, is to protect your base. Transistor is something very fragile. Okay, transistor is very fragile. When you got too much of current go inside, they spoil. Base, especially base, very fragile. When you supply too many voltage, you supply too many current in, they will burn straight away. So this is why we always have resistor here. And you think about it, what's the function for resistor? What's the function for resistors? They were used to reduce current, right? There you go. This is the function. So every time, right, we put a resistor here for one simple reason, because, right, this thing is to limit current flow into base. Okay? Or you can say it is to protect the base, to protect the base of transistor by limiting current flow in the base. Okay. Oh, you don't have to write here. You just write. I write like that, one shot easier. I mean that's what you're supposed to say. Okay. How do we protect the transistor from being destroyed? The answer very simple. Okay, we just connect a resistor before the base terminal. And why is that so? It will limit the current flow into the base and protect the transistor from excessive current. There you go. So you will always see a transistor there, and that's the function. Any answer you doesn't part to copy, right? After that, I will give you the full answer for this set. Okay, all the questions inside, I'll give you the answer also. I can ask, I'll ask them to post in whatever you get the notes. Okay. So the answer for the essay, right? I'll leave it to you. The one you can copy afterwards. Most importantly, you need to understand them, because a lot of times when you look at the answer, you can't understand. That's the main problem. Okay. All right. Now, last part calculation for this question. The last part for these questions. Diagram 6.3 shows a setup of an electronic circuit. There we go. We wrap up everything. We talk about diode, full wave, and then after the transistor, both the transistor functions. We have autometer switch and also the current amplifier. Okay. So this one here, basically what it does is that again, you see, you supply a current into base, transistor activate, then the current will go through here. Two of them will combine here, and then together they come out from emitter, and then they go through. So the whole cycle is like this. Okay, current flow from this 1.5 volt into base, and then after that, current flow through this 6 volt, and then into collector. Because you supply current to base, the transistor will activate, and then current will go out from the emitter, and then after that, everybody go back to their own house. Everybody go back to their own home, and there you go, one shot. Okay. Now, when I draw it this way to you, you're supposed to know lah. Question number 1, they ask you to calculate the value of emitter current. Oh, this one is not F, it's IE. A bit of typo here. You change this, okay? IE. And I describe to you what quite easy, right? See this one, flow, combine, come out. Somehow I give you nice color, you can tell, right? Yep. So the answer, of course, for this IE, it's what? The formula is actually not exactly formula, it's just a simple relationship. IE is IB plus IC. Yep, base current plus collector current. But you need to pay attention. You can see this thing, they purposely give you all kind of random units one. These are different prefix. You cannot just tell me 105. No, this is micro ampere and this is milli, which we mentioned already. Milli, right? It's supposed to be milli. It's actually 10 to the power of meg. Whereas, right, for micro, it's actually 10 to the power of -6. A bit different. Okay. So by right, you need to convert them to same unit before you sum them up. So micro, it's 10 to the power of -6. And then for collector current, it's 5 milli, 5 times 10 to the power of -3. And we do a simple math here, we sum them up. We're supposed to get 100 micro plus 5 milli. We get, how much was it, by the way? 100 micro plus 5 milli, 5.1 times 10 to the power of -3, is it? There you go. And this one we put ampere because already convert to SI unit. And one thing regarding calculations, right? It's always recommended to convert to standard SI unit. Safest. Whenever you're not sure what unit SI unit it is, okay? You say, hey, this one should I do milli or microampere? How about no? How about just ampere? Milli and micro is prefix. The SI unit for current is ampere. Yep. And then after that, calculate the current amplification factor. Now this one very simple. This one the formula you need to know okay. Current amplification, right? Beta equals to right collector divided by base. There's a formula there anyway. Yes, collector and base. Okay. So this one collector again substitute inside collector is 5 times 10 to the power of -3 divided by 100 times 10 to the power of -6 equals to 5 10 to the power of 3 divided by 1 10 to the power of, 100 10 to the power of 6 -6, sorry. I think we get 50. Yep. I teach you a simple trick. A lot of people say, I can't remember this. How? Now, transistor is amplifier. What does it do? It amplifies current. So the amplification factor for transistor, it will be always more than 1 actually. So whenever you're not sure, right, I tell you what, they give you 2 number in exam, right? They give you 2 number in exam, right? Always take the bigger one, put on top, take the smaller one, put on bottom. Sure, correct one. So if you're not sure which one is which, simple. Take the big one, divide small one, settle. Right? Okay, for last questions. The graph of IB against IC is plotted. What is the value for gradient? This question feel like, hey, what's so weird one, right? They give me a graph suddenly. Now, simple. This one, it's they say IB against IC is plotted, right? IB against IC is plotted, right? You know how we calculate gradient, right? Gradient formula was actually y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. In a simple word, gradient is actually what we're doing. We are taking y over x. So what's the meaning of this gradient here? IB against IC is basically y is IB, is IC over IB. So what's IB over IC? Actually, this is 1 over amplification factor. Oh, by the way, beta is a symbol for amplification factor. Yes, a symbol for the amplification factor. So gradient actually equals to simple 1 over 50. Never leave your answer in fractions unless you are dealing with ratio. So always convert them to decimal point. And yep, this one a bit tricky. Okay, graph. To be honest, most of the time your graph is IC over IB. But this one is purpose. That's why you want to pay more attention to it. Okay. All right, I think we can take a break here because we are done with question 1. Then after the break, perhaps we can continue with question 2.
Okay. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Junhan, for that very engaging first half of the physics session. And I hope everyone here right now is also feeling inspired and ready to take on your physics exam preparation with the fresh strategies and confidence that was instilled by Mr. Junhan. We'll now be taking a short 10-minute break, so feel free to stretch, grab a drink, or take a moment to breathe. We will be right back at 10:43 p.m. to continue with the workshop, so make sure to return on time. And just a quick reminder for everyone, if you have any questions or thoughts, feel free to drop them in the chat box or on the Slido, and we'll make sure to answer as many as we can during the Q&A session.
Why choose AUG? With more than 29 years of experience in the industry, we've been guiding students like you to their dreams. Our extensive network includes 26 offices across Asia Pacific, ensuring we're always close by. Offices are located in 5 major cities in Australia. We've proudly placed over 68,000 students across the globe. We represent more than 900 educational institutions in Australia, UK, USA, Canada, Singapore, and many more. Good people, great service, best outcome. Why choose AUG? With more than 29 years of experience in the industry, we've been guiding students like you to their dreams. Our extensive network includes 26 offices across Asia Pacific, ensuring we're always close by. Offices are located in 5 major cities in Australia. We've proudly placed over 68,000 students across the globe. We represent more than 900 educational institutions in Australia, UK, USA, Canada, Singapore, and many more. Good people, great service, best outcome.
Largest education fair is here. Meet face-to-face with representatives from leading universities. Discover scholarships and financial aids that can help your dream become a reality. Explore exciting programs, internship, and global study options. And the best part is, it is all free. So register now and be the first 50 students to win a free movie tickets. See you there.
Why choose AUG? With more than 29 years of experience in the industry, we've been guiding students like you to their dreams. Our extensive network includes 26 offices across Asia Pacific, ensuring we're always close by. Offices are located in 5 major cities in Australia. We've proudly placed over 68,000 students across the globe. We represent more than 900 educational institutions in Australia, UK, USA, Canada, Singapore, and many more. Good people, great service, best outcome.
Are you worried about your education? You don't know where to start? Well, worry not. AUG's largest education fair is here. Meet face-to-face with representatives from leading universities. Discover scholarships and financial aids that can help your dream become a reality. Explore exciting programs, internship, and global study options. And the best part is, it is all free. So register now and be the first 50 students to win a free movie tickets. See you there.
くと見える、書くと広がる、書くと信じられる。頭で考えるだけではつかめない。書くことによってのみ生まれる想像への糸口。ゼブラは筆記具の力を信じている。どんな世の中になろうと人間には想像力を引き出す道具が必要だから。今こそ挑戦の輪を広げる。ただ手を取り合うのではなく、尊重し合い、ぶつかり合い、互いの挑戦を重ねていく。企業を超え、国を超え、それぞれが持つ技術や知恵を組み合わせる。筆記具の進化はそんな挑戦の輪でしかなし得ない。さあ、世界中の想像力が次々に花開く。その先には何が待っているだろう。ゼブラが描く未来にご期待ください。
All right, everyone, welcome back. I hope you all had a very nice break and feeling refreshed. Now let's continue with our workshop. So, Mr. Jun Han, you can proceed with the next set of questions for physics. Since Mr. Johan is still on his break, let's give him a few minutes till he comes back.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Johan. Break already finished. You can proceed with your lesson.
Okay, thank you. Welcome back. All right, so we continue with question number 2. Let me change my screen again. Okay, so question number 1 we're done. So we go to new another questions and basically another topic. Okay, so for this, as you can see, question number 2, right? This one here shows you the arrangement of apparatus to study the force. That's right, to study the effect of force. Effect of force on the current carrying conductor. So basically, this one is about motor, okay? Because just in case they ask, because again, for this year, these two topic is the one that I feel like it's important for this coming SPM. Okay, now number 1 is the electronics part, and then second thing is about electromagnet. Okay, these are the two topics that usually now for Form 5 you have 3 things that they always like to come out in essay. I mean the back part of the questions, not just only essay even for question 7, question 8 also got chance one. They always like to do the 3 topic that you all hate the most: electricity, electromagnet, electronics. So we go through electronics and also electromagnet just to be safe. Well, motor is just in case because by right this year I feel like it's more important about. I feel like this year is more important regarding all the electromagnetic inductions, but You never know. Maybe they come out surprise questions. So over here, you have two different. This one is not exactly motor, but it's the same theory. So effect of force on a current carrying conductor in a magnetic field. And I noticed, right, this thing, a lot of people make mistake. Well, what do I mean by make mistake is that a lot of time, right, you're always got one part that you write wrong. And when you write that, it's a wrong concept. And when you write that, you're gonna minus some out. Like literally the remark there on your paper, right? They will say reject the student answer if you mention this sentence here. Okay, because in electromagnetic, there's one thing you all always like to write. You like to mention about the cutting of magnetic flux, the cutting of magnetic field lines every single time, right? So now I understand electromagnetic, there's a lot of cutting. True, but the thing is, you cannot always everything also cutting one. Yes. Now, if it's a generator, yes, it is cutting. If it's a transformer that is cutting a few lines, if it's a generator that's cutting, if let's say Lenz's law, there's also cutting, but not everything cutting, especially this one here for the motor part, because for motor, right, there's no cutting. Motor is that they combine the few lines and then they create. So when the moment you say the coil cut few lines, then they don't bother reading whole thing one. You say, hey, but if I just write one sentence wrong, what? That's the thing. They are very particular over this thing. So for remark, they will mention if you say this, then just minus mark straight away. So that's why this is one thing I need to remind just in case. Okay. So over here you got two different diagrams. Okay. So if you look at diagrams, what is the thing that you notice? What do you think? What is the difference between them? Now, first thing you can see the word there, okay, very obvious lah. Okay, one uses 6 volt, the other using 12 volt. Obviously, higher voltage means more current. And then also, next thing you will notice is that the distance traveled by this rod. So it was here, then after that, it went over to the left side, it comes here. So this is the distance traveled by the first diagram. And then this one, right, same thing also, it was the same position, but then they went over here. That means, obviously, you can tell, right, they travel much more further distance. And the reason very simple, what? You supply more voltage, of course, what happens? With higher voltage, they're going to move more, they're going to have larger force and everything. So that's why 1, 1, okay, 6 volt, 12 volt, there you go. First thing first, again, you see, as I mentioned, right, every time they put the first question, they always like to say regarding this definitions. It's okay that you don't know definitions, but the thing is, they're telling you this is regarding what? Catapult field. Because what are we dealing with, the phenomenon is called catapult effect. Okay, the phenomenon is called catapult effect. The result, whatever you produce, is called catapult field. Catapult field is basically where the few lines combined together, and then you get this. So catapult effect produces catapult field. See that? Now, before we go to definitions, right, I tell you what, when you know how to draw, you will kind of know definition for this. If you go down to the next page, right, you see there's the one simple diagram here. On diagram below, diagram below shows the front view of the arrangement of the setup. So you need to draw the directions of current flow, draw the resultant magnetic field, and then also show the direction of motion of the rod. Basically, one set one. They always come together one. But there's one mistake I need to change because the magnetic pole is reversed already. Okay, because if you look at it, you will know, oh sorry, this one already changed, done already. I changed myself. So basically this one okay, totally fine. All right, so you can see this one here, front view. Imagine you put an eyeball here, you're gonna see the south pole on top, north pole at the bottom. Okay, same thing as well. You see south pole on top, north pole at the bottom. So what you need to decide is over here. You can see here they put a circle only, right? Now for this, you need to supposed to mention the direction of current flow. Regarding current flow, whenever we say front view, okay, this thing you've only got two drawing. It's either you put a dot in the middle or else you put an X, right? How do we tell whether dot or X? Very simple. It depends on whether the current is coming out or going into the paper, right? Now, because when you do front view, right, imagine your eyeball is in front. You saw the south pole, you saw the north pole. At the same time, you will see this rod. You're not going to see the whole thing. You only see the rod front part. Practically means the cross section here, one circle. See that? So how do I know this one circle, how to draw? Very simple one. You see how the current flow. Okay. Now, which one doesn't matter, same one, because your current flow the same way. Whether top part also same, here. Then the bottom part also same, right? So it doesn't matter whichever lah. So this one here, you can see the current flow, flow from this side, flow, you see, we follow this, we go through, follow, flow, 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 and then we go until this wire here. This one we don't care. This is the original point one. Okay, until this point, what happens? They're gonna go over this rod because they are conductor one. So they go over, they flow over one shot like this. See that? So if you put eyeball in front, what do you notice? What do you saw? You're gonna see south on top, north at the bottom, right? At the same time, what do you see here? You will see the current is going towards your eyeball, right? Like you can see the red color arrow here. It's kind of going towards your eyeball, right? Now, when the current is going to eyeball means what? Just imagine now we put it front view. You are going to see current coming out from this paper because they are coming towards you now. The whole thing is like that 3D version like this. Your current be like this. So when it's coming out, then what happened? You put a dot right in the middle here. So dot means current coming out of the paper. If you see X, right, it means going into paper. So dot and X lah. So that's the difference. So first thing first, we label direction of current. The next thing you need to draw. Now to draw this, right, typically, I tell you what, every time, oh, by the way, one thing, any drawing in exam, right, use pencil. Whatever drawing, pencil all the way. Now for me, I will normally tell you one thing, we sketch first. What do you mean by sketch? Don't draw the whole thing first, right? Sketch the line first. Now first thing, you draw two lines like that. Now what is this? This one is actually the directions of magnetic field produced by permanent magnet. Over here, you got two types of magnets. Okay, you have magnetic field produced by permanent magnet. You have magnetic field produced by current too, right? So first thing first, straight line. This is the magnetic field produced by permanent magnet. Now, for permanent magnet, every time they are same one. Okay, they go from North Pole to South Pole, fixed. You learn this since I think from 3 or whatever. Okay, North to South. So these two lines is you draw like that to represent the magnetic field produced by permanent magnet. Now, it's only sketching. Later need to erase off. Later you have to erase off. Next thing, you need to draw a circle. Because why? As I said, you got two different current. Sorry, you got two different field lines. Field line produced by permanent magnet. This one settle. Second, right, you have field lines produced by current. So current, right, when current go through any conductor, any metal, copper wire, whatever, okay, there will be magnetic field around them. And they're going to be circular shape. They're going to be circular shape. So for this, right, if you do dot, what you do now, very simple. Use your right hand grip rule. Right hand grip rule, like this, grip rule. Okay? Now, your four fingers is the direction of magnetic field, and then your thumb is the direction of current. Since the dot is coming out, what do? You put your hand, your right hand, by the way, on your book, or maybe on the paper or on your screen now, okay? You make sure your thumb pointing yourself, okay? Because it's coming out. So you put your hand, make sure your thumb pointing yourself. And you will notice one thing is that if you point towards yourself, right, your forefinger, it will start to rotate. It will start to be rotating this way. So in a simple word means they will do anti-clockwise, right? This way, anti-clockwise, anti-clockwise. So once you got that, you will notice one thing. On the left side here, the directions of the magnetic field, they are opposite directions. Okay, the current field lines and the permanent field lines, they are terbalik. They are reversed. Magnetic field, just like force. If they're same direction, they combine. If they're opposite, right, they cancel off. So over here, opposite direction, right? So what happened? They cancel off, lor. And then over here, same direction, right? What happened? They combine. Okay, so one side combine, one side cancel. After this, erase off all these things. That's why I say sketching. What you simply need to decide is that whether the field line will combine or cancel. Now, when your field line combine, okay, when the field line combine, you're going to have more field lines, longer field lines. When the field line cancel, you're going to have lesser field lines and then shorter field lines. So here, combine, right? So your field line is going to be like this. Okay, you draw lines from north to south, south to north, up to you, okay? But then you make it curve. Okay, or right hand grip rules is for you to determine the directions of magnetic field first. Fleming rules is meant for left hand. Fleming rule is to find the direction of force one. You want to know the directions of the magnetic field produced by current. So that's why it's right hand grip rule. All right. So for this combined part, the field line will be more. So you draw curve a bit because more field lines, not just only more field lines, the field line become longer. So you make it like this curve lah. Okay, it's like what it's like those wire outside. During the hot day, they expand, they will kind of be like sagging down like that. A bit similar idea. So when they get longer, then they become curvy a bit. And then try to draw a few more because why? Combine means you're gonna have more few lines and then longer few lines. Now for cancer one, this is the one thing that people make mistake one. You like to draw like that. No, you don't wrap around it because why? Cancer one don't get longer. The one that get cancer, right, it get lesser and shorter. So you simply just need to draw one straight line all the way. As long as you make sure you draw the line lesser. Obviously, you can see lesser can already. Normally, I recommend like ×2 lah, easier to tell. So here I draw 4 lines, so I put 2 lines here. Okay, so the cancer part lesser, combined part longer. After that, label direction. No matter what magnetic field, always go from north to south, north to south. And then now what happened? You notice your few lines are not balanced, right? One side more few lines, one side lesser. One side lesser, one side more. More few lines means stronger field strength. Less few lines means they got lesser field strength, weaker field strength. So what happened when you got stronger field strength? It's like having a larger force. And what happened when you got weaker field strength? When magnetic field line lesser means the magnetic field strength is weaker. So weaker field strength, lesser force, stronger field strength, stronger force. So here the force bigger, right? Here the force smaller, right? Then what happens next? Typical, just like force, right? When the force bigger, they always bend. So this thing, force bigger, they will tend to push to the smaller force area. Okay, so that means you will start to create a force that will be pushing towards the left-hand side. And this is the reason why your rod ended up, right, going to the left side. Okay, there you go. So they push from right to left. And then now you have a force to the left side. And there you go. Okay, and that's what you do, you see. They ask you label current, draw the resultant field, and then directions of the motion. There you go. So that's your whole drawing. Yep. Now, in fact, you can also determine the direction of a force by using Fleming rules, left-hand Fleming rules, of course. How to tell, right? A simple trick here. Every time, right, ask yourself 2 questions. Number 1, do you see any permanent magnet? If yes, then it will be Fleming rules. Second, Fleming rule got 2 hand, what? You got left hand rule, you got Fleming left hand, Fleming right hand, right? Then second question you ask, is there any current flow? Did they supply battery? Did they supply power supply? Did they give you current? If yes, left hand. If no, then right hand. Left hand is for generator, left hand is for motor, right hand is for generator. Left is for motor, right is for generator. There you go. So for this, right, how to do? Left hand, now number 1, index finger, 3 finger like this one, right? Your index finger, right, you make sure you point from north to south. Just follow the arrow. Basically means make sure your index finger point up like that. Okay? Then you take out the other 2 more fingers. Make sure your middle finger point yourself. Make sure your middle finger pointing yourself. So then you will notice one thing is that you're supposed to get like this, your thumb this way. Okay, my drawing a bit ugly, sorry. Okay, your middle finger and then your finger is supposed to be something like this. There you go. Okay, and there you go. You can see the thumb pointing to left side, force. A bit hard to show lah, to be honest, this one. So left hand Fleming rules. Okay, drawing, done. All right, now back to this. So what's the meaning of catapult field? Answer. Oh, by the way, this is catapult field. When the few lines, after you finish cancelling, combine everything, the resultant few lines that you produced is basically, okay, whatever you just drawn, this thing, it's called catapult field. The phenomenon is called catapult effect. But the result, the product you're getting, right, is called catapult field. Get it? And how do I get catapult field? It's actually a combination of 2 few lines, right? The few lines produced by permanent and the few lines produced by current. So that's why over here, right? What is the definition for catapult field? It's actually the resultant magnetic field produced by the interactions between. Now, when we say few line combined, right? Actually, I don't like to use the word combine because why? Not all the few line being combined. Some of the few line being cancelled, some of the few line being combined, right? So resultant magnetic field produced by interactions between magnetic field produced by permanent magnet and the magnetic field produced around a current carrying conductor. There you go. So catapult field is what? Magnetic field. Two are. One of them is produced by permanent magnet. The other one, it's the magnetic field produced by current. So when you combine them together, they become catapult field. Get it? And of course, next one, I think we've answered already. What is the physics rule used to determine directions of rod? We just did, right? What is the physics rule? We need to find the force directions. It will be Fleming's left hand. There you go. All good? How to know which type of field lines? The one, you just see the combined cancel part, the one we just draw. That's why I say sketching first. You're supposed to sketch first. Yes. How to sketch this one? North to south, two line first, and then this one dot means the magnetic field line doing anti-clockwise. So you see, opposite direction, cancel part, same direction, they combine. So the part where field line combine get more field lines. The part where field line cancel get lesser field lines. All right. Okay, next one. This diagram 11.3 shows the structure of direct current electric motor. So over here you have simple motor. Explain the working principle of the direct current electric motor. Now this one typical. How do we explain? Now this is the one that I said that people always confuse. Because why? When they ask you to explain, then straight away you will start writing what? The field line cut through by the coil. The moment you write cutting, your marks is gone. No, they don't even give you marks. 0. So that's why you need to be careful. And this one very easy. What? I mean, we don't go so complicated. We go basic. The normal one, how? You know, the usual or the normal motor you have, typically the one you see, right? It's like this, right? You get a North Pole magnet, you get a South Pole magnet. After that, we put a coil in between, right? Usually you get a coil like this. Coil, coil, coil. After that, right, you put battery inside. Perhaps there's a switch here. So how do we explain this, right? Every time, whenever you have a motor, or maybe a generator, I always tell students one thing. You try to imagine you have this thing. Like for real, you have it in real life, like right in front of you. You want this motor to turn. What is the first thing you do? You're going to turn it on, right? Yes. So first thing, you turn it on. Now, the moment you turn on, what happens? The current will start to flow. Okay? The current start to flow through the coil. Anytime when current go through any conductor, any wire, there will be magnetic field produced around them. Now, field lines produced by current, they are circular shaped one. So magnetic field, magnetic field, magnetic field. At the same time, right, you always get what? The magnetic field line produced by permanent magnet, north to south, north to south, north to south. So you look at the blue one and the red one, they kind of intersect, right? They combine, right? What happens next? Then you start having curving field lines like that. Remember this thing? Then eventually, with all these field lines, it will start turning. And why does it turn? Is because, right, now you got 2 wire. Just now, right, there's only 1 wire. Okay, this is only 1 wire. That's why they only moved. It's either they go left, they go right, they go up, they go down. But it's always one way, 1 rod, right? Since 1 metal rod got 1 force, then 2 metal rod, I mean, here got 1, here got 1, right? That's why you get 2 force. And of course, you notice, right, the current here goes in, the current here goes in, the current here comes out. The directions, the balik means the force will reverse. The force is going to reverse as well. Getting what I mean, right? So that's the point. So that's why, right, you get 1 force going, let's say, for example, randomly, okay? For this, you get a force going up here. That being said, the force here should go down. So you got 2 force, one side up, one side down. Next thing what happens? They start turning. They will start to rotate. There we go. So you see the whole process we mentioned again. If I want this motor to work, what do I do? First, I turn on. Close the switch, current flow. Current flow, what happens? When they go through the wire, there will be field lines produced around them. Circle, 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 circle. The field lines produced by current, they will combine with the field lines by permanent magnet. And what do you get? When 2 of them combine, you get catapult field. What do you call the phenomenon? Catapult effect. Catapult effect is going to give you what? 1 force going up, 1 force going down. 2 of them combine, they cause the coil to start to rotate. You see, I mentioned 4 things, what? That's why the 4 marks. There we go. Okay, so working principle for electric motor. Step 1, what do we say? When the electric motor it's switch on, what happened? The moment you close the switch, all right, current flow through the coil in the motor. And when current flow through, what happened? Producing magnetic field around the wire, around the coil, around the wire also can. So that's the first thing you tell them. Okay, I turn on, I got current flow. Current flow, they will generate field lines. Then that's when you mentioned the point. Magnetic field. I need more space, so I cannot 2.4. Magnetic field. Sorry. The magnetic field produced by current will, you want to use the word combine, can one, but I don't like combine. I will prefer like, the better word to do is interact. It's more accurate. The magnetic field produced by current will interact with the magnetic field produced by permanent magnet. Okay, when they interact, combine, cancel, what happened? Catapult field it's produced. And finally, the catapult field under what? Catapult effect. A catapult is produced. The catapult effect will create. Now, this is when you learn the smart way. You're gonna have two forces, right? Of course, you don't need to say what they will create a force going up and down, waste of time. Just say the catapult effect will create a resultant force straight away. After two of them combine, that's your result, right? It will create a resultant force causing the electric motor to rotate. And answer. So every time, right, 4 marks, you notice the whole sentence, I never say anything about cutting few lines, right? That's the emphasized thing I need to mention. Motor, they don't cut few lines. Motor, they interact few lines. Motor, they combine few lines. So the first point you tell them, right, the current need to flow. Okay, current flow through the coil. Whenever your current flow through the coil, what happened? It produce magnetic field. This one is the few lines produced by current. Okay, this one is the few lines produced by current. Current flow through the coil. They produce magnetic field around them. And then the magnetic field produced by current will interact with the magnetic field produced by permanent magnet. You combine, interact, and then you get catapult field. So the catapult effect is going to create force. Because you got two force, we just say we create a resultant force causing it to rotate. There you go. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 4 marks. Got it? There you go. Okay. Next one. Diagram below shows a brush motor and a brushless motor. Now, to be honest, you see this diagram is the one that you typically see in your textbook, right? Your usual textbook or any exercise questions, they are always been like this, right? But I tell you what, this is a very outdated version. Motor actually not like this one. In real life, motor never like this. For one simple reason, because now the traditional one, they are like this. You have a commutator here, and then you have carbon brush. Carbon brush, of course, made of carbon, right? But here's the problem. This is metal. This one also, hard. So when the motor rotate, what happens? Whenever you have this carbon brush, you have this commutator, right? When they start turning, it will start to rub against each other, as in like frictions. Now, metal, you know what happens when you scratch it, when you friction it high speed, they create spark. And then metal, when metal rubbing each other, a lot of sparks, a lot of frictions. So nowadays, right, we don't use this anymore. Instead, right, what do we do or not? We use another type that nowadays that normally we all do. So that's why you got two different types here. And let me tell you one thing, this is a new thing in your syllabus because the old syllabus, right, they got no brush. They never mentioned about this brushless motor. Yep, but now your textbook, right, there's one part that specifically mentions about the brush motor and brushless motor. So this thing, they never asked yet. They haven't asked before. Basically, two lah, brushless motor and brush motor. And one of the things they always like to ask you is the difference between them. Well, of course, you see, you're gonna start giving me those like, oh, I know, one got brush, one don't have brush. Okay, that's kind of correct, but you need to explain furthermore. Got brush, no brush, then what's the difference? Because if you just say brushless motor, no brush, brush motor, got brush, you're not gonna have enough marks one. I need two difference, So think about it. When there is brush, what happened? There will be frictions, yes, and then they will create a lot of sparks, and that means they also have very loud operational noise. When they operate the time, like the metal rubbing like that, they're gonna cause a lot of sparks and noise. So separate them. Don't just straight away jump to the point and say, oh, got brush, no brush. Furthermore, then what? No friction, got frictions. Got spark, no spark. Got heat, no heat. All these are your reason. All these are answer. So brushless motor, of course, all right, no carbon brush in the motor. Then what, right? You can further elaborate more. It does not cause sparking. There's no spark. It's better like in a way. Imagine your house fan. Your fan is a motor. What? Do you want spark coming off from a fan? Like the one on ceiling, when they're blowing air, then you see like sparks. You feel like your fan about to explode, right? So there will be carbon brush here. Okay, there are carbon brush in the motor. Then further elaborate more. Okay, it will produce a lot of sparking. Beside that, what is another advantage? Having brushed, also, what happened? The carbon brush will create frictions between, sorry, no need, waste of time. There will be frictions between the carbon brush and the commutator, which causes wear. Sorry, no need wear and tear, the one last lah, which produces excessive heating, or you can say overheating. And then for brushless motor, advantage, no frictions, as there is no carbon brushed in the motor. Then you can also further say like they have louder operational noise, they got softer operational noise, that kind of thing. So differences, there's many ways to write on. I mean, there's many answers. So when you write like that, you got more answers. So don't jump to conclusion, just say no brush and got brush. Further elaborate more. Having brush, what's the problem? Without brush, what's the good thing about it? Okay, there we go. All right, next one. Diagram below shows the setup of a simple AC generator. Okay, how do you know? Even they don't mention that. Do you know how do you tell the generator, is it an AC or DC? Actually, AC, DC, there's only one difference. Everything same one. The magnet is the same, the coil is the same, everything same. The only difference is what? Yes, the only difference is here. Okay, you want to differentiate between AC and DC, okay? You want to differentiate between AC and DC. You look at the ring they are using. Yep. AC, we will use something called slip rings. And then for DC, right, we use split ring. The drawing very different one. AC, right, you will see two rings separated, one ring to one coil, or the other ring to the other coil. But then for DC, right, you will see like half and then half ring connected. That's why it's called split ring. It's like a ring and then right in the middle, you cut it in half. Yep, so you got two lah, okay? So for this, how do you tell, is it an AC or DC? AC uses slip ring, and then DC, right, we use something called split ring. Okay, so the difference between the type of current that you produce. Split ring commutator. Slip ring commutator. So AC and DC. You are required to modify the generator into a DC motor. Now, this is one of the things that they like to ask everybody. Yep, because they want you to okay, generator and motor, right? They're actually very similar. The fact is, generator and motor, they are actually very, very similar. The only difference is that, the fact is what? The logic is just terbalik, like literally reverse. In these chapters, right, there's a lot of all these things. They reverse the logic one. Yep. So generator, what happened? You rotate the coil. Okay, like you use your hand manually to rotate the coil. They cut few lines. This one cut few lines, yes. Generator cut few lines. They cut few lines and then they generate current. So basically, in layman term, generator, I supply force, I generate current. For motor, right, the balik one, you put battery inside, you supply current, and then they will move. Means they produce force. So, see, motor, we supply current, they generate force. Generator, right, we supply force, and it generates current. Notice the logic is just reverse, right? There you go. So, of course, this question, as you can see, is 10 marks. They're not going to just be so easy like, oh, modify generator to DC. That one won't be 10 marks, one. I tell you what, modify generator to DC. This part only got 4 marks. One. Because there's only 2 changes you have to do. That's why they also ask you to do one thing, suggest 3 more modifications to make the motor rotate faster. Okay, so basically the marks will be distributed this way. Now, always, right, one thing that I always recommend students do is you try to think about it, how the marks distribute. Very important. If you want to write a good answers, what's the first thing you do, right? You need to be able to imagine how your answer look like. So think about number 1, how the marks distribute. Because you know that, okay, this one needs 6 marks. That means I need to put 6 points. Or that one needs 4 marks. That means I need 4 points. So that's how you tell. You get it? So modify generator one side, and then the suggestion as well. Now to modify generator to motor, okay, first thing this is an AC generator, right? You know why I say 4 marks? Because there's 2 things you need to convert only, right? Number 1, you're supposed to convert the AC generator, okay, to you're supposed to convert the AC generator so it becomes a DC motor. Second, you're supposed to convert a generator to become a motor. And that's exactly what I mentioned just now also. So that's why 4 marks are right. Now, first thing first, what do we convert? How do we convert from AC to DC? As I mentioned, the difference between AC and DC is that ring being different, right? So what can we say first of all is that point number 1, we can replace the slip rings with split ring commutator. And why is that so? The reason very simple only. All right, the reason very simple only. What was the reason? Okay, now AC, DC, what's the difference? AC, it's alternating current. The current will flow 2 way. They will keep changing one. But then for DC, right, the current flow 1 way. And that's your answer, right? Replace the slip ring to split rings commutator, right? This is to ensure current flow in one direction in the circuit, or you can say in the coil, also same thing. So AC, DC, right? The difference is just that your current flow 1 way or 2 way. That's it. Okay. Second thing you need to describe is what? The generator become motor. Now, I told you, right? The logic of them is just reverse. Generator, what you do? You supply force, as in you turn the coil, they generate current, right? What about motor? Motor terbalik lah. You supply current, they will turn. So what you need here, it's you need current. Now, one obvious difference between generator and motor is this thing. You know what does this G stand for? G means galvanometer. Okay. Now, only generator uses galvanometer. Galvanometer is to determine directions of current directions. Not even value, I mean, they do show a bit of value, but most important function for galvanometer is that they determine the directions of current. And you only need that for what? For a generator. Because for motor, right, you put power supply, you put battery yourself. I mean, you don't know, right, how the current flow, right? Because you put the battery in yourself. So only for a galvanometer, Because you're generating current, you need to know the current flow. How about this? Just remember, see this letter G, right? When you see G, think about what? G for generator. But of course, the G here stands for government, but we can relate this way. If I see a G here, means this thing is for government, it's for generator. Yep. So motor, we don't need this. What do we need for motor? I need this thing to turn itself. I need to supply current, right? What do you put inside here so that you have current? You supply, power supply. You can say the typical way, the most basic one, we put battery. And why battery? Because you want a DC motor. So second thing, you can say we replace the galvanometer with dry cell, or maybe battery also can. And why is that so? To supply current into the coil of the motor. Okay, there we go. Replace the galvanometer with dry cell. One thing, you need to choose your word wisely. You cannot every time use the word replace. This one, if they put a galvanometer inside, then you say replace. If in the diagram there's no galvanometer, then you just say install, you can say add dry cell. So replace is if there's something inside that you don't need, you take out. That one we say replace. Yep. If there's no galvanometer inside, like the wire literally just maybe like this, wire, empty one, then how do you, when you say replace galvanometer, it don't make sense anymore because your diagram inside got no galvanometer. Then you say add dry cell, enough. Okay. Now, once we settle with the modification, what's next? We can suggest we can suggest how to make the motor faster. Well, to make the motor faster, there's many ways, and the answer is very simple. Every time you deal with motor generator, think about your Fleming rules, because the answer is on your hand. All right, motor we do left hand, generator we do right hand. So for motor, right, left hand, right, you want to increase the force. You look at your 3 fingers, the thumb it's actually force. So you want to increase this, right? The other 2 more fingers are answer. Generator, same thing also. You want to increase current, right? The other 2 more finger is your answer. Yep. So first thing for motor, how do we make them go faster? They're simple as this lah. You do something to the magnet, right? You can say use a stronger permanent magnet. Okay, you can say use a stronger permanent magnet. Why? Because it will produce. Okay, stronger magnet means what? Stronger magnetic field strength, and it produces more field lines. Correct. Produces, you want to be more precise, you say produces more magnetic field lines. Even better. And it produces more magnetic field lines. What else can we do? What else can we do? Well, dry cell can have more dry cell, correct. But one thing very crucial, look at diagram. Yeah. They put 1 wire, is it a good choice? They put 1 coil, is it a good choice? I don't think so, right? So what's the better thing to do? You can also say increase the number of coil, number of turn of coil. And why is that so? We got 2 different field lines, right or not? We got 2 different field lines, right? We got permanent one, we settle already, and we settle the current one. So increase the number of turns of coil, it will produce more magnetic field around the coil. Now in dimensions, you can't just produce more field lines because which field lines we refer to? Produces more magnetic field lines around the coil and generates a greater force. You mentioned this, even better. Greater force, that's why your motor will be able to move faster. Last one. Now, this one you cannot say concave shape because it's already concave. Yep, normally okay, the magnet we use here is rectangular shape, right? If it's rectangular shape, the magnetic field is going to be straight line. But they already draw concave here. So concave cannot be the point anymore. Yep, dry cell can actually, dry cell can. We can say increase the number of dry cell or battery lah. Depends on what you wrote. Okay? Why? Why do we increase dry cell, increase battery? Because by doing that, it will increase the magnitude of current. Okay. Oh, one more thing also. Look at this diagram. Something missing out actually. For generator, we don't put, but then for motor, we can put. Notice here, empty a bit. Normally in between the coil, you will see there's one thing in the middle here. Yep. So you can also say what? You can say we add iron core. Yes, you can say use soft iron as core. Because like that also, they increases the magnetic field strength. Magnetic field line also can. Now, the core, right? You know why we put a core here now? The core, when you put one core here, the core is going to get magnetized. Magnetized means they turn into magnet. Yep, they get magnetized into another magnet. So you get like magnet 1, magnet 2, more magnetic field line, stronger magnetic field strength. Okay, but of course we don't have to write so many of them. You got more than enough, right? Listen, you cannot spam one. You say, oh, then can I write more so I get marks? Because top part here I don't get marks. Now the marks are very clearly distributed one, like this. Okay, cut off this way. So they will give you 4 marks here. Meaning if you only give them 1 point, they give you 2 marks only. So the marks here was given 4. The distributed marks are 4 here. You cannot say, can I put 1 more to compensate the losses here? No, we cannot. Here, 3. Basically means any 3 answer that makes sense, they give you marks. But then, no point writing a lot. You say, hey, I know 5, can I just put 5 and then 10 marks? Nope. Anyhow, 3 of them, I give you 6 marks, that's it. So you cannot spend one. But of course, here, I see we got 1, 2, 3, 4, more than enough, all right? Oh, yes, regarding wire, you can do changes as well. Some of you did, some of you were probably thinking you can say what? Use thicker wire. Try not to use the word thicker. You know what's a better word to use? Larger diameter. Use wire with larger diameter. Because when you do that, okay, this is to reduce resistance of the coil and increase the magnitude of current flow. But as I said, no matter how many points you wrote, 3, any 3. So 4 marks was given to these 2. Okay, you replace your slip ring, becomes split ring. Why? Because split ring is for DC one, and then slip ring is for AC. So if you change to DC, then you tell them ensure current flow 1 direction. Now the question can reverse one. They can tell you like, oh, I have a DC motor. Can you help me to modify it so they become a AC? Can also. Then you answer terbalik. Replace the split ring to slip rings. Then the answer is to ensure the current flow in 2 directions in the circuit. All right. Then after that, the second point you mentioned, replace the galvanometer with dry cells. Why? Because dry cells supply current to the coil. Then they generate magnetic field lines. Then they start turning. Yep. But listen, the word replace have to be careful. This word have to be careful because you need to make sure inside got galvanometer. Then you can use the word replace. If not, then you will just need to say add. Yep. Then the other 3 more points here you can pick. I give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more than enough, right? You just choose any 3 because it won't be put more marks for you. 3 means 3. Okay. All right. So 10 marks. There you go. That's how you go through these questions. All good. This one, you can take a screenshot if you want to. We good? All right, next we can continue. The last part. Diagram 11.4 shows an electric motor. Again, motor and battery used in any electrical vehicle. Now this one, it's like a new topic like the new famous topic because you get a lot of all these EV car nowadays. No, they ask you design. So suggest modification to the battery, and motor so that they can enhance the electric vehicle speed. All right. Now you need to do two things. Number one is enhance the electric vehicle speed. Basically means they want to go faster lah. Okay. Basically means they want you to go faster and extend driving range. Normally electric car, we have one problem every single time is that people always constantly worry about their driving range because your battery no more than you're gone already, that kind of thing, right? So how do we go through this? Okay, first of all, they give you property and arrangement of battery, right? So and we talk about arrangement first. This is the easiest, which I always want to remind you. For arrangement of battery, how? For the arrangement of battery, now listen, every time now, okay, battery we always connect one way only. What is the way to connect battery? We always make sure they are series. Okay, parallel is for any other electrical appliances. That one makes sense. Parallel is for any other electrical appliances, right? If you say you connect like bulb, yes, then parallel. But for this one, anything that supply voltage for you, then we do battery. You get it? Yep. So that's why for this one, right? Because series, what's the good thing about it? For series, right, the voltage you sum together one. The more battery you put in series, the higher voltage we have. So it provides a higher voltage. Provides a higher voltage supply. Okay. Next one, the property of battery. When we say property, you think about it. What's the most important thing about battery? Well, if you don't know what material, it's fine one actually. If not sure what material, it's totally fine. Most importantly, okay, you need to make sure one thing is when we choose battery, what's the number one concern we must have? And simple, they want you to have a longer driving range. So what do you think? It's like buying power bank. You want your power bank can charge many times. What do? There we go. So you can say the battery should have a larger capacity. Just now the word we use capacitance also can. Larger capacity, larger capacitance, because we're that able to store more charge, which means they allow longer driving range. Can drive further along, right? Next one. Then we talk about the motor. Regarding motor, I think we got more than what we got answered just now already, so I don't repeat. Okay, motor you can say increase the number. Same thing anyway lah. Number of turns of the coil. Because electric car is just like motor anyway. Okay, I mean they're using motor inside. So why? Because more magnetic field lines produced by current, and then what happens next? It will result in greater force to turn the motor. Right? And then some more, you can say, just now we did mention, right? Use wire. It's a bit like repeating, so I think this one I can go faster because it's basically repeating answers. Use wire with larger diameter, because when you do that, what happens? Reduced resistance of the wire and increased the current flow in the coil, in the motor also can. Now, one more thing, please notice they say others, right? So you cannot keep spamming one. Electric car or maybe hybrid car, they got one thing here very smart one is that how they maximize your driving range is that even for when you're driving, right, they try to charge your car. Because you see, your car driving, you are having kinetic energy, right? There's way to convert them to electrical energy. Right? Yes, the braking system for electric car or maybe hybrid car, they are different. I give you a new term, not to say new term. That's what we are using anyway. For all the electric vehicle or the hybrid vehicle, right? We do one thing, okay? We uses something called regenerative braking systems. Now exactly how it works, that one they won't ask, relax, okay? basically what it does is that every time when you press the brake, or every time when you don't press the pedal, you let go, you let the car roll, the tire roll like that. You use that to rotate a generator, and then they charge the battery of your car. Yep. But of course, you don't need to know exactly how the working concept, or you just tell them it converts the kinetic energy to electrical energy so that the battery get charged during driving. Okay. When you charge it, then sorry, I need to change a bit. My bad. Typo. To electrical energy, and charges the battery when the car slows down. This will sound better. There you go. Okay, so this is the answer for your part. This question I find it quite interesting and I modified the question a bit because I find it more relevant when we do it this way. Okay, so this is the one for electric vehicle. Recently, I noticed a lot of questions you're raising because now is the new trend. All the electric car you see out there. This is the idea. Okay, understood. We good. ABS is the typical braking systems. Yeah, the usual. I mean, even for electric car also got one. ABS is another thing. That one is for safety purposes. ABS is to make sure your car don't skid. That one got nothing to do with driving faster or driving driving further range like that. So here we don't mention it. That one is more towards safety feature for car. Okay, and I think we are done. Question 3, I may create one more for you to try yourself. So question 2, we are done. So practically means we are done with question 1 and question 2. Both the topic, everything you should know, everything is already inside. Okay. All right. So I think this is all I need to mention for today. Okay. Is there any questions you guys like to ask?
Mr. Junhan, maybe we can have the Q&A session now, since got a lot of students have a lot of questions. All right. So thank you so much, Mr. Juhan, for that very informative and amazing session on the topic of physics. I'm very sure that our attendees have been gaining a lot of valuable tips and a lot of steps to apply in their physics exam preparation. So now it is time for the long-awaited Q&A session. You all have been submitting some great questions during the presentation, so let's dive deep into those. If you have any more questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat or on the Slido, and we'll make sure to answer as many as we can. Mr. Junhan, there are some questions in the chat box if you'd like to check them out.
Okay. Nuclear physics this year, I feel like normal only because last year they come out essay already, so I don't think it's a very, very important thing. I mean, yes, they will definitely come out, just that you don't expect them to be heavily weighted. Hot topic is the one I mentioned, so electricity, electromagnetic, electronics. These are 3 things that for this year you probably expect them to show up in the essay. Okay. And what else? Oh, Amali tips, then for Amali, you spend more time studying Archimedes. Amali, we do Archimedes principle more, right? And then state paper 5 most useful. There's a few states that's very important. I mean, I feel like quite good the questions. MRSM, SBP, Kedah state paper actually quite okay. Then if you could find Johor one, it's fine as well. not bad also. Yep. And then for definition list, I think, you want to memorize or not, up to you lah. I'm not going to force you on because definition definitely a lot lah, to be honest. So for definitions, I give a simple piece of information is it will surely come out. Okay, for SPM, sure come on. The idea is it will always come out about 5%, 4 to 5% of your physics paper. So you decide whether you want to memorize or not. And when you do exercise to practice yourself, you will notice one actually. There's few terms always shows up on. Memorize those. If you just want to choose and everything, then you memorize that one. Okay. Yep.
All right. So there are some questions on the Slido right now that are on the screen. Maybe you can answer those.
I answered all this already.
Oh, sorry. If there are any more questions that you may want to ask, please drop them into the chat box.
Volume of water displaced versus buoyant force gradient all different. What do you mean by all different? Like, I think volume, if you draw a graph of buoyant force against volume displaced, it's supposed to be a straight line. It should be a straight line. So gradient difference, it's actually based on your own answers. Yeah, because when you do the experiment, surely everybody results different. So, but definitely the gradient will be straight line. I mean the graph you draw. Okay. How to not be careless with unit when you're doing calculations, when you're doing practice with calculations, always force yourself write down the units. Practice more. And there's really no need to memorize with unit 1. You can always form yourself. There's formula there. You only need to remember the basic SI unit, and then all the extra derived, you just based on the existing SI unit, you form yourself. Okay? All right.
Okay, are there any more questions? If there are no more questions to ask, then we will have to move on. So this is a perfect time to ask Mr. So it's a perfect time to ask Mr. Junhan some very good questions about physics. All right. If there are not any more questions, right, then Mr. Juhan, do you want to proceed with the grad voucher session?
Sorry.
Would you like to proceed with the grad voucher session, which is the grad voucher session, which is where Mr. Juhan will be asking 2 questions to the students here, and we'll be giving away 2 grad vouchers worth RM10 ringgit. So,
okay.
All right. Mr. Johan, would you like to proceed with 2 questions?
All right. So, the 2 questions I have is, let me think about it.
While Mr. Johan is thinking, please make sure that you can either type your answer down in the chat box, or you can open your mic and speak about it, but please raise your hand before that. And the first person to answer will get the grad vouchers. Mr. Johan, you can proceed with asking the questions.
Okay. I think we asked for first questions is we try to ask whatever we learned just now. It's easier for you. So question number 1, what is the difference between AC and DC generator?
Anyone who has the question, if no one can answer, then you can move on to the next question until someone has answered the question. Oh,
Oh, someone did.
Is this the correct answer, sir?
AC generator uses sliverings, DC generator uses sliverings. That's correct.
Ah, congratulations, Hanson Lee. You have won the first Grab voucher. Congratulations. So please put down your email so that our TIA team can contact you on your vouchers. Thank you. All right.
And next questions
Next question.
for generator. What kind of physics rules do we use to determine the direction of current? For generator, what kind of physics rules do we use to determine the direction of current?
Oh, there are a lot of people answering. Who's
There's a lot of answering.
Okay, Mela is the first to answer. Is it right hand?
Yes, it's right hand.
Ah, congratulations, Milan. Oh my goodness. Everyone, thank you so much for being so cooperative in answering the question. However, Milan is the first person to answer. Oh, I mean, it's the first one to pop up. But congratulations to both Hansen and Milan for answering the Grab voucher. Sorry, the Grab vouchers, the questions. And congratulations on earning your Grab vouchers. So that was actually an amazing and engaging informative session. So firstly, we would like to firstly thank Mr. Jun Han for sharing his expertise in physics for today. I'm sure this session has given all of you the confidence and clarity to approach your exam preparation in a more focused and stress-free way. And before we wrap up, we would like to take a moment to express gratitude to those that made this event possible. A very special thank you to our gold tier sponsors, AUG Student Services, BAC Education Group, and New Era Enterprises for their generous support. We would also like to thank our collaborators, Student Action Club Inti and SMK Subang Utama Leos for fundraising efforts. If you also have not noticed, New Era Enterprises has provided all of you free Artline and Zebra Shopee e-vouchers, so make sure to claim yours before they're gone. Just scroll to the sponsor section of our digital booklet and scan the voucher QR code or copy the voucher QR code. The voucher code for your next purchase. Before you go, please take a moment to fill out your feedback form. Your input is very valuable to help us improve in your future workshop for SPM students like you. And please take note that e-certificates will only be issued to participants who complete the feedback form, so don't miss out. And also, make sure to join our later session at 2 p.m. for another information workshop focusing on the subject of economics, and keep up the great work with your exam preparation, everyone. Last but not least, we would like to now take a group picture together. So everyone, please open your cameras and smile. Hee. All right, everyone, time to open your cameras and take a group picture. All right. So, everyone ready? So, time to take a picture. Everyone, 3, 2, and 1. Smile. All right. Thank you all so much for coming to this session. Once again, we would like to thank Mr. Jun Han for taking his time out, his busy schedule, to give a talk for the topic of physics. And once again, thank you all for attending. If you have any additional questions or need further support, please feel free to reach out to us after the workshop. Don't forget to follow us on our socials that are displayed on the screen right now. And I hope you found this workshop helpful and you feel more prepared for your exams. We covered a lot today, but remember, your journey doesn't end here. It is just the beginning. Bye, everyone. I hope you all have a great day today.